be fearless and shoot your shot at life. And I learned that from, it was high school basketball, going back to that. And we played AI, and I remember I got a steal. We was down by like 12 or whatever. We was down by a certain amount of points, and I had a fast break. And in that moment, I said, like, fuck that. I'm going to pull up for three. And that's before people shooting threes like that. Like, you were shooting threes, but it wasn't this. And I just stopped, and I didn't have fear. And I was like, I'm pulling up for three. I don't care what the coach going to say. I don't care if he sub me out. I'm confident. I'm going to hit this. Boom. Like, I was fearless in that moment. And I literally shot my shot, and I hit it. Yeah, but that sparked a run for us, and we got back in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that energy that manifested a whole bunch of other stuff after that. So I would say be fearless and shoot your shot at life. You know what I'm saying? Like go be him early.
Hey yo, G Dash, boy, take your hat off. Fine. This week on Hats Off with G Dash Jones. Hey, hold on. Y'all know what you're doing. Woo! You watching Hats Off with your boy G Dash Jones. Woo! See, we gonna start off with a little smooth. It's gonna drop like, hey, y'all better, what? Yeah. If y'all don't know, hold up. I said, man, listen. I said, man, shouts out to today's theme music. That's my man, PC Beats, aka T Anthony. If y'all don't know, that's Feelin Ya. It's on all your streaming providers. Again, that's Feelin Ya by T Anthony, also known as PC Beats. Go ahead, check that out. Vibe with it. Now, you're watching Hats Off with your boy G Dash Jones. After this, I'm gonna be done, okay? I'm gonna be done. When I say I'm done, hold on, let me clean this up. Y'all won't see me to the new year on this right here. So yes, I'm telling y'all, this Hats Off is gonna be the last Hats Off. Until next year, I'm bringing it back with Maya Bellardo, because me and Maya Bellardo are doing something special on Valentine's Day. So she's gonna be my first guest in the new year. And we gonna do an interview because she got her new EP out, by the way. So shouts out to her. Go and peep it, get the vibes out. February 14th, right? Them tickets is gonna be coming. Me and her at the Christina Cultural Arts. It's gonna be Thoughts from the Heart. Listen, I just came up with the name. Okay, it's us. It's that kind of improv situation. Thoughts from the Heart. Me and Maya Bellardo. I'm gonna take you on a journey. So she gonna be singing with the jazz vocals. What? It's gonna be a little wine taste. What? It's gonna be food in the. We're gonna have an art gallery. What? Listen, all I'm saying is you gonna have to save that date, because that's what it's gonna be. Valentine's Day. Go ahead, come see me and Maya Bellardo live at the Christina Cultural Arts Center. Tickets should be available within the next couple weeks, because the VIP gonna be popping. Oh, okay. There we go. What they call him the brain. No, they call him the brain.
You gotta check, make sure nothing in the teeth. Hold on now. You know these braces. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure things are right now. Hold up now.
Well, don't check in the camera while they're watching. Okay.
I ain't worried about that, man. I ain't hiding them. It is what it be like. Feel me?
Oh man. See, I just updated the calendar with all the things, so people know. But just so people know, if y'all watch this on the replay, or I will clip this up, feel free to comment in the comments whatever events that y'all know is happening as well, just so people know if you got something going on. Let them know what's cooking up. Now, without further ado, I got the man, the myth, the legend here. When I say the man, the myth, the legend here, let me tell you something. I'm talking about somebody who I went to school with him, okay? Like, so I seen him, you know, they just called him Blake. I didn't, you know.
It's still Blake.
The brain.
It's still Blake.
You know, but everybody knew him, so it's not really unknown. Like, he was already him. Now, but I'm talking about videographer, director extraordinaire, inspirational host, get in the room popping, but also sending motivational messages, coining the term "failure is dope." I said, failure is dope. I said, what? Yes. With failures and goals, kind of having a rise with that as well. Without further ado, Blake the Brain, ladies and gentlemen, how
Yes.
you feeling, good brother?
Look, look. You know I love your animation. I thought you was gonna have like the claps and everything. Like, I love it. Listen, man, thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Being on your show, man. You very animated. I thought I was animated. G, I love your animation. Keep going with it, brother.
I would tell you why it's funny that you say this.
Yo,
That's funny to
hold on.
me.
Shout out to the hats on the wall. I put together the hat. Is that the hat of fame?
Well, the show is called Hats Off. I gotta have
I
that.
know that.
It
I
came
love
with
the
the
hat
show.
on the wall.
I didn't have. Listen, I have nary won a hat till the whole show started, and then all the hats just popped up out of nowhere, and it was like, you got a show, you got to have hats, and that's how
Listen,
that happened.
I love it though. No, I love the hats, man. You said I had to put on a hat just for you for the show, and plus because I'm woofing. But it is what it is.
Listen. Side note, that is not how the hats happen, but it sounded funny, so I went with it. But okay, with that said, because this is about you, and you got a hat on. I feel like, and I feel like that ain't locally sourced, or that's locally sourced. That you can't find that at Walmart. Like that hat ain't. You didn't get that.
No, this hat. No, you could actually. You know what? This hat they had at what's the store? DTRL, and I loved it personally because it says lone wolf, and that's kind of how I definitely am. That's my spirit animal. I think I'm a wolf and a lone wolf. I do a lot of things by myself, but I also love people. I could do it in a pack, but I can also do it as a lone wolf. I call myself, I think I'm a social loner. If that makes any sense because I definitely love to be around people. I get energy from people, but then, it's times right after that I have to go decompress and be on my own little path. So I like doing stuff like that. So I call myself a little lone wolf, a little bit. Is that the Dick Wolf Law and Order?
I had to bring the wolf out. You feel me?
Like I grew up, I remember that wolf, you know what I'm saying? We had 3 channels growing up, you know what I mean? So
You asked for the wolf. You asked for the sounds, so I brought the wolf out. Now, okay, but since we in it now, so before you get into you being the lone wolf and that, because I'm gonna go back to that. That's good. Tell people a little bit about yourself, things that they might, just get familiar in case they don't know.
The funny thing about it is I actually don't even I didn't even call her out. This one person, she was like, "You like attention, right?" And I actually I'm not attention seeking. I'm not. It's just a talent that I got to be able to do certain things that I do. I don't even like talking about myself. So people like tell me a little about myself. I think I'm just a regular person. Now, what I do, I have my own photography and video production company. Been doing that since I was in school since I was at Dell State, but started doing it full time back in 2011. Took a leap of faith to do that. Called Front Street Video Productions. Had a lot of ups and downs with that. Learned a lot, and that's what actually Failure is Dope kind of birthed from those lessons that I got from that business side of things, how it affects the personal. That's one thing. But I also call myself an energy producer. Some people will look at it as the host, an event host, but I'm an energy producer. No matter what the event is, I can come in and create the energy for it. So, it can be, we did a lot of things with say Delaware State University, HBCU. We did some things recently with ESPN. So basically, if you have any type of event, no matter what it is, it could be a New Year's Eve party, it could be a bar mitzvah. If you need some type of energy to be generated, I'm going to create it for you. Like if you want an atmosphere, I'm going to create it for you. Because a lot of times you can have a great event, you can have everything in place, but the energy's not there. You know what I mean? It can you can have game night, you can have great people over there, but if the energy's not there, it's dull. But you can have a great group of people. It could be 5, 6 people. You can have somebody who can generate that energy, generate those conversations, being able to connect people. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm around people, when I'm at any event, it's been a couple times where I went to somebody else's event and I'm just there, boom, 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 and the energy's not there. Now I'm never going to step on nobody's toes, but I'll be like, all right, how can I find a way to generate the energy for it? And then afterwards, people are like, yo, I'm glad you did that because that kind of got everything going and third. And that's what it's about. So, I'm like I said, video production and photography. That's the business. Failure is Dope now comes in on a third aspect, and that's just purpose. You know what I mean? So I have a skill that I developed, which is the video production and photography. The gift that I have is me being an energy producer. I can talk to and connect with anybody. Like that's my God-given gift and talent. Something that I want to harness even more, to dive into even more. And then I have the purpose, which is Failure is Dope, as we have right here. So it's just those are 3 things of me. I don't know how much more you want.
Well, we got a little bit of time. Don't worry about it. So
All right,
here's
brother.
what
All
I'm
right,
thinking.
brother. Let's go. Let's make it do what
But
it do here.
you said something that made me curious. So I have to. You said a couple things that made me curious, but essentially, so lone wolf, right, as it says on the hat, right? Hey, what about yourself? I don't really like to talk about me much. Don't really like that attention that much, but I'm an energy producer. Okay, so with that, and being an energy producer needs two things. You need people, okay, and wait for it. You also need people to be looking at you from time to time. How do you find balance in all of that? Because those things can feel conflicting.
But no. I mean, honestly, it's not conflicting with me because when I host an event, it's people looking at me like I'm in the craft. I'm working. I'm not doing it for my purpose. I'm not doing it for any self-centered reason, right? When you like certain people, they want to host it, they want everybody to look at me. Hey, it's like when you was a little kid. Hey, look what I could do. You know, hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. And it's not that. It's like when I'm in front of people, I'm working. I'm just using that God-given gift to be able to be like that's something it's natural for me. So that's why I don't feel any type of way when I'm hosting in front of people. I'm not worried about people looking at me in that aspect because I'm like it's so natural to me, and I don't mind people looking at me. Now, when I say, but I'm not like yearning for the attention. Like, hey, look at me. You know what I mean? Like I'm over here now. I could be hosted. You can put me in front of 100,000 people, and it's not about me. That event is not about me. Like if you see anybody see me hosting anything, I'm creating that energy, and I like to bring up the people in. Like, what can I do? Have some fun with the crowd. This, that, and the third. I rarely talk about me anytime I'm hosting an event. I'm like, oh, I did this, I did that. I'm like, I'm more interested in the other person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm asking questions. I heard one thing before. Interesting people. People find people interesting. Probably gonna misquote it. But long story short, people find people interesting if they're interested in anything else. Like if I'm asking the questions, if I'm interested in you, you find me interested. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about me. If I'm asking questions about you, so how you get that boom? So how you get them hats on the wall? Where did that come from? I genuinely want to know. You know what I'm saying? So like even if I was to go on like a date or something, like I'm asking more questions about her. What do you do? Boom, boom. She's like, "Well, tell me something about yourself." I told a little bit, but I want to know more. I'm more interested in you than me talking about me. I'm like, I'm just a little old Negro from the north side of Wilmington. My fault. I forgot. Look, you can take me out the hood. We can't take the hood out of me. My bad. My bad. Players
Man,
mess up.
you all you said was Negro. It's not that bad, bro.
Oh
Trust
no.
me. Believe it.
Gee, I don't know.
Believe it or not.
Gee, I don't know how PG this. You know what I mean? We want this conversation to be, but
Listen, we are good unless it's a sponsored episode, and this one ain't got a logo on it. We're fine. Don't worry about
right,
it. We all right.
right. Somebody said
You
stop my
good to be.
logo picture.
You can beat all of you. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about
Gotcha.
that. Now, but I will say what you said makes a lot of sense, right? So I, I wasn't going to say this, but speaking as a host myself, I think that what we do at times when we're at our best is we're creating an environment for the room to enjoy themselves, right? Or we're creating an environment like, so you're leading an environment. You're not, and that's not necessarily about how you feel. Honestly, you can be having the worst day in the world, but you're able to channel into that environment, right?
Yeah.
I saw you at Rebirth Live. Shouts out to Rebirth, right? And it was funny because I saw you do what you're saying, right? And I don't know if you'll talk about this, but what you like, I watch differently. So I'm sitting there, right? And the questions come up, bam, questions thrown up in the air, right? It's almost like jump ball. So sometimes you play point, but because it was that more of your personality to be able to play point in those conversations, or was it just kind of about just keeping it moving?
Now, what do you mean by it? Now, those conversations. Now, when you said play point, I just want to make sure I'm understanding the question correctly. Go ahead. What do you mean by play point?
Playing point. So the question come up, you might catch the question. Right now, by the way, for y'all don't know, Rebirth Live, the questions was about you gonna pay 50-50 or not. Like it's the texture of the conversations were very relationship based. I'll say it that way.
Gotcha.
Right? Conversations could come up. What Blake might do is be like, "Hey, so Corey, what you think about that, brother? I think we need to hear from that. You might start
Okay.
playing."
That's what. Yeah. That's what makes sure you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because in those type of situations, not that I'm not concerned about people gonna think about me. I passed that stage, and that we can dive into that. That's a whole nother thing. But in those type of environments, I like to play the point because I know everybody has to get involved. I know it's a bigger piece at stake. The crowd, you know what I mean? If I don't never want to hog a question, I'm gonna take a question and then throw it to somebody else. Well, what do you think about that? You know what I mean? Because I might know something. I might know you have more information about that subject that the question might not have been centered to you, but I know you have more information and more knowledge about it. I'm gonna save a little boom, 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 and I'm gonna throw it to you because I know you can answer that question better. I'm like, how can we get the best out of this experience? And that's what a point guard does. If some people don't know, in a basketball court, sometimes the point guard has to score, has to go to the cup, and sometimes the point guard job is to go ahead and get everybody involved. But the main job as a point guard is facilitate the offense, get it going. So in certain things, I was a point guard in high school. You got to realize how to navigate what's going to get us to win. Sometimes I might got to drop 30. Sometimes I might only got to drop 5, but I got 20 assists. I'm getting steals. I'm getting everybody involved. I'm feeding people. You know what I'm saying? So that type of event is like I realized like, okay, cool. How can I, from my experience over the years, how can I make this conversation keep growing? You know what I mean? So.
So those, just so y'all, sometimes I talk to my audience, by the way. For y'all in the back, in case y'all don't know, he just described adding value, right? Sometimes you got to go into a situation and add value, not the way that they asked you to, but the way that you just need to, just by peeping the scene. You just got to be able to just grab and add value to any situation you're in. That's how they always keep calling back. I think that's kind of what it kind of goes with.
Right.
Now, okay, I'm gonna take it back, right? Because before you were, on the stages, Failure Was Dope, Blake the Brain, what made you, I believe the videography stuff kind of started first, right?
Yeah. Video first.
So in school, everybody knew you, but you played sports. You were that guy. What made you kind of get into the media and entertainment world?
Well, honestly, ever since 3rd grade, I kind of it's two instances in my life where God talked to me and told me what I was going to do. I didn't necessarily know it at the time. Well, I knew it in 3rd grade, and it happened to me in high school, and they both were very relevant to what I do now. And I didn't know it. I knew it in 3rd grade what I was going to do, and it happened to me in high school. I'm gonna explain two different situations. So in 3rd grade, first time I seen Stuart Scott do ESPN, I said, wow, I want to do that. I want to be a sports anchor because I loved how he was able to transcend sports, right? He was being himself so professional, like he was himself, right? And I always find myself liking people who are authentically themselves. And that's a whole nother conversation. Like I love Jamie Foxx. I thought Jamie Foxx was authentically himself. You see what I'm saying? I love Steph Curry. Like a certain type of people, I just love them because I feel like that's who they are. You know what I mean? So 3rd grade, I seen Stuart Scott. I said, I want to be a sports anchor. So when I went to college, I already knew I was going to school for broadcast journalism. So in broadcast journalism, that's where you learn lots about the media and all this stuff, taking TV production, doing all those things. But in college, I came up with this show, it's called DSU Room Raiders. It's on YouTube right now. Type DSU Room Raiders. It is a classic. When I say classic, it is a Dell State classic. I lied to you not. They had this question. It was like, what was your favorite moment at Dell State? People said DSU Room Raiders, so that felt good. So we created a show where now this is at a time before YouTube and all that stuff, right? So we used to go through girls' rooms, right? Go through their drawers, find all type of stuff. We would air it on the station, right? For everybody to see on campus. Now this is before, like I said, before social media was. Only thing I was Facebook at the time. Keeping it frank, I'm sorry for my young kids, yeah. I'm aging myself. Only thing I was Facebook. YouTube was out, but it wasn't YouTube. You see what I'm saying? Like it was, you could do like 30 seconds of a video, something like that. You couldn't do too much, right?
I would like to verify that at the same time, let us know that Black Planet and was probably around. Okay.
Black Planet was around and I was in high school. Okay. Black Planet, look, if you come from the Black Planet era, shout out to you. Shout out to my Black Planet era. You know what I mean? You made your own page. We was all web developers and we ain't even know it.
Yes.
We ain't even know it.
Wait. And the Mahente, if y'all was living La Vida Loca, you know what I'm saying?
You let them. Mamacita, ¿qué pasa? Hola! You gonna give me a go. You know what I mean? No. All right, back to it. So long story short, I fell in love with the editing process, right? Because I would create my own show and we had to edit it ourselves. Me and my boy Tony Anderson, like we was just grinding, right? We didn't have no Mac computer. We had to go to the lab, right? That's how we learned the Mac. Now at this time, technology is shifting, right? So this is when cameras started coming out that could shoot videos. So and then a couple years went by, and then I got a camera. I was working at the school at Dell State in the football department. And I was making videos and all that stuff, but they had a little camera, so I had got into it. And then my boy Herman, shout out to my man Herman, when I graduated when I graduated college or whatever, and I had, he was like, yo, come do this wedding with me. He said, do it for free. I was like, man, you know what most people say, don't do nothing for free. I was like, I ain't doing it for free, man, you crazy. But that was one of the best advice. He said, man, come do the joint, man. Don't worry about it. They can pay for it after if they want it. But I came to my first 3 weddings for free, but that got me going. So then I started doing wedding videos. And then after that, it just took off from there. Now, going back to the other aspect of time when God talked to me and told me what I was going to do, and I didn't know. It was 9th grade year. It was a pep rally. And my boy Jamar Jeffords, shout out to Jamar. He was a senior. And this guy named Chuck, that he was hosting a pep rally. I was like, yo, I want to do that. Like it was just something in me. I felt it. I didn't know it at the time until later on. I look back at it. I can still feel that moment. I was like, yo, I want to do that. But they got away from they didn't do the prep rally my senior year. So I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? But then the time goes by, I was hosting events at Dell State, but I didn't necessarily think I was going to go into it and making a business out of it. And then, I was working at Dell State in the missions department. Then I would host like the little barbecue. They had me get on the microphone. So I got to a certain point to where, I was in admissions counselor, and I used to sell Delaware State University. And it was easy for me to sell Dell State because I believed in Dell State, right? Honestly, I just tell people my story, and it was the truth. And I said to myself, if I can sell a university because I believe in it, why can't I sell myself if I believe in myself? So I can sell myself. So I just took the leap of faith, and just, did a bit of production. And then now it's like doing it as an energy producer. Like I really want to dive into the craft and really become who I know I can become. I'm just tipping the iceberg because I'm just going off of pure, like, natural God-given gifts. You know what I mean? I have yet to tap into that artistry, that craft, and really, really like diving into it, like really, really diving into it. And that's what I want to do. And that's kind of like where I'm at. Not even kind of, that's where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Yes. So now, all right. Now, when you first kind of get behind and you learn this editing and you get into this space, was it the quiet? Because a lot of people say that, like, for a lot of people, it's a lot different editing. So like video editing is a whole, like, because it can be hours, right? How did it not become, was it more peaceful for you, or how did it not be tedious? Because a lot of times that's how people can see
But
it.
anything you first start off, you're interested in it, it's not tedious because you're interested in it, you're learning. And you just want to learn. Like if you have I had one of these books back here. It says, it's the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. I always had a growth mindset. I played sports ever since I was a kid, so I always wanted to get better. When I came into sports, I wasn't always, not even forget the best one on the court. I wasn't even good, right? But I always wanted to keep getting better. I would go talk to the coach. I was always coachable. Tell me what I need to do. Tell me what I need to do. Give me better. Give me better. I can take the coaching. Take the coaching. So when I'm learning something new, if I'm interested in it, it's not tedious, right? It's like, okay, boom, 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 learn it, right? Now, you ask me if I got to edit something, which I'm like, gosh, like, because you got to break it down. You got to do all this stuff if you're going to be good at it, like how I break it down, and it takes time. And from a creative perspective, like you don't want to go through that. You know what I'm saying? So I had a friend who would break it down for me, and then that helped out a lot because like I don't have to go through that process. Now I can just be creative and put something together. It's like imagine being, let's just say J. Cole, who's a producer and a rapper on some of his songs. Like you gotta make the beat. All right, you gotta break it down, you gotta do this, you gotta answer this. Now you gotta think about some lyrics and put it all together, boom, boom, boom. But after a while, J. Cole's like, man, I'm not producing. Give me some producers in here. You know what I mean? I'll just go ahead and rap on the beat after that. So, from the tedious perspective, it's just it comes along with the territory. And if you understand anything that comes with the territory of anything, you could be a lot better. Even, I don't know, like even like when you have to mourn a bad decision, if you understand the process, right? If you understand the process, you're going to be okay. Because it's a mourning process that comes with any loss. If you was to lose all your hats on the wall, right? You got to mourn those hats. Now it's kind of a 7-step process. It's like the mourning a loss of someone, right? Now it's not as deep. I'm not saying that, but it's a process. Now, what happens in certain process when certain things happen to certain people outside of the loss of someone is they stick in this depression stage, right? That sad stage. But if you understand the process that that stage is actually part of that 7-step process, if you understand it and you know, like, I'm cool, I know I'm going to go, I'm going to hit a moment where I'm going to be sad. For an example, if you have to go to Christiana Mall from the city, if you go at 4 o'clock, you're going to hit what?
Traffic.
You know what? You know you're going to hit traffic, right? It's part of that process. You know,
It's
like,
not fair.
I'm going to hit traffic. But you know, once you get past a certain point, then you're good. Smooth sailing. But what happens is most people don't want to go through the traffic. Or they go through the traffic and they going through, this traffic, it'll be over. It'll be okay. Is the traffic moving? We'll be okay. We're moving, we're progressing. It might take longer than you anticipated, but you're going to be all right. Now, as long as you keep your head in those situations where you lose something, you'll be all right and you'll figure it out. It'll be going just like that. Next thing you know, you forgot about it, you're moving forward. But most people stay stuck in that one space. Did I get too deep? I got too deep? My bad.
No, you not for me.
Bad.
All you did was start this next moment. So, and let me know how you view this, because this gets a little deep. But in theory, anytime you make a decision, you're killing the other side of the decision, right? So that's where, when you say there's always a mourning process, I think that's hard for people to conceive at times, because people don't realize that if I say yes to something, I innately said no to something else, or I said no to nothing, like at that same time, right? And I have to let go of whatever that other thought was so I can proceed in this direction, right? And a lot of times that's harder to accept than people want to do. So it's like, oh, yeah, let's keep it happy. I want to go to this party. I'm going to this party. There might be a side of me that just wanted to stay home and lay in the bed. I have to then say, but I've accepted that I'm going to this, right? Whatever comes with that, that's where I'm at now, and I have to make more decisions based on where I'm at versus living in where I was,
Yeah.
right? So hence, just to go back even to, for you, editing, filming, once you've got to the point of understanding, all right, this is what it is, it's a lot easier to accept how tedious it can be at times, to say, maybe I need more manpower to handle the parts that might drag me, right? Maybe I need to start reaching out to find different ways to make it creative so that I don't get lost in points that I don't really want to be in, but that's because you learned the process and you've accepted where you're going. Is that kind of where you were striking it?
Yeah, and that, you'll get burnt out. That's just like anything. Is that a beer, bro? What you got over there? What's that?
No, it's not a beer. Jesus Christ.
You got a great beer? You got a
Just
great
because
beer.
it's in the can, I gotta be drink. No, I'm not.
Nah, I'm joking. It was just great. It was like,
we accepted decisions over here.
our sponsor? Hold on. Is that our sponsor?
No, that's why I ain't show it. They got to check.
They got a check. Get the check, bro. Get the check, bro. I ain't mad at you. Nah, all jokes aside, you're gonna have a burnout process with anything, right? Like, you got moms out there. Let's just say a mother. She's going to get burnt out at some point in time. No matter how much she wanted to be a mother, how much she loves being a mother, she's going to have a burnout phase, right? So what happens in that, like, that's anything you do, you're going to have a burnout phase. So we're talking about the tedious process, like, I'm burnt out and I don't feel like doing that. And those are times where you got to be like, okay, cool. What do I got to do to get away from this burnout phase? That's when most people take a vacation or whatever. But what I learned, and for me, was helping with me is finding time to set aside to decompress, period. So say, after example, if I have 2-3 days, like where I'm working an event or something like that, boom, boom, it's like nonstop, right? And understanding what that comes with the territory of the job. After that, I need to decompress, right? Yo, I ain't talking to nobody, right? I'm not doing no work, right? Even if I just go grab a cup of coffee and just go down to the riverfront, go to Starbucks, go to the movies. I have to let my mind just chill and be idle so it can just go ahead and rev up. That's like anything. That's why we rest. That's why we sleep. Our body needs to be dormant for a little while so it can recoup. That's what the body's doing when we're sleeping. You know what I'm saying? So you got to find time to decompress so you don't get burnt out so fast. That's anything that you do. You know what I'm saying? The longer you can push off the burnout phase, or if you can take a break before that burnout phase, then you can be okay. So now, like, getting back into editing now, I got a whole different chip on my shoulder right now, because I didn't give my best effort that I could have gave when it comes to the video production company. I should have been at a certain level, and I'm mad that I regret that I'm not at that level. So now I got a certain chip on my shoulders. It's like, all right, cool, let's go ahead and, you know what I mean, show niggas where to start.
How do you? And hold on, let me put my charger in. But the question is,
damn, nigga, look at all them hats, bro.
It's something light. Don't even worry. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Something
You know
light.
what?
All right.
I had a real funny joke, but I'm gonna chill though. It's your show. I had a real funny
Go
joke.
do it. I know who's on my show. I know who my guest is. Don't
Okay.
listen.
All
Trust
right.
me.
No, we'll chill. We'll chill.
And this is my last episode of this season. Okay, I'm coming back in 3 weeks. This wasn't an accident.
Right.
I knew who you were.
Right. Okay. All right. No. We good. I ain't gonna say no crazy.
Right. We going somewhere between lit and deep. That's where this conversation is consistent. But now, with that said, knowing what you know now about the whole video production situation, how did you decide where you feel like you should be? Like, how do you assess that?
Hold on. Let me ask that again. Let me make sure I'm understanding it correctly.
How do you assess where you feel like you should be? Like, based on everything you know now, because you're like, hey, I'm not where I should be. But it's like, how do you kind of assess that?
Oh, for me, it's easy. It's based upon effort, right? It's based upon, like, if you're self-aware. If I tell people all the time, if you're self-aware, that's first and foremost. You know how much effort you have given something. That's anything, right? You always say the one person you can never lie to is yourself. And if you can lie to yourself and be convinced, then normally you're probably crazy, right? You're probably delusional. And that's okay. It is what it is. I mean, it is what, but like, you can never fully lie to yourself, right? You know if you gave a good effort, bad effort, or a great effort. I know during those times I could have gave so much more. And probably at those times I probably gave maybe 50% of what I was capable of doing, right? And I had a conversation with a friend of mine. We're talking about effort, right? We're talking about, just imagine if you gave, believe it or not, 75 to 80% effort. We ain't even talking 100. 100 is fucking hard as hell. It's hard. It's almost, it's darn near impossible, right? But let's just say 75 to 80, which is, I'm telling you, is great. If anyone asks themselves a question, what's the percentage in my last 2 years of my life, 3 years of my life, what percentage would I give that I have give myself, that I have given the effort on my career, my health, my passion, purpose, all that stuff? Just ask yourself. And I guarantee you're probably going to say anywhere between 50 and under, right? And then you still achieve certain things. So just imagine if you'd have gave 75 to 80. I know what I'm capable of, right? And I learned this lesson back in high school when I was playing. We played my senior year in basketball. We lost to William Penn at the state semifinals, and I gave everything I could in that game. And I was able to walk, even though the loss hurt. I was able to take that loss in stride because they were just a better team, flat out. They had the best player in the state on their team, and they had a better team. They were a better team that night, period. You know what I mean? And I can accept that. So then what I learned from that is, if I give my best effort, I can accept whatever the result is. If I go into an event, I prepared, I planned, I killed it, no fear, I rocked it. Whatever happens at that event happens, and I can live with it. I be like, yo, I did good. You know, mistakes are gonna happen. That's okay, as long as I gave my best effort. Did I prepare for the mistake? Okay, boom. How did I handle it? Did I take it? You're gonna take some hits. As long as I gave my best effort, I'm cool with it. And I know I didn't give my best effort. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I know, like, even right now, I'm not giving my best effort. But that's a whole other conversation, diving into like what commitment really is. My thing is, why do people commit to a relationship before they commit it to themselves? Right? That's a real thing. It's so easy people to commit to a relationship before they commit to themselves.
Well, yes, because people tend to be more prone to someone else's obligation than self-obligation. So
Yeah.
if I know that I have to do something for me, it's optional. If I have to do something for you, it's mandatory. That's how people can have their mindset. They shouldn't. I'm not saying it's right, but I think that's where the attachment of humans kind of can go to. If somebody else gives me this thing now, oh, there's somebody to hold me accountable for it. First, it's the accountability factor. Versus if it's just me, all right, well, accountability is my option, right? Now, with that said, to your point, 75% is hard. 100% is real hard. What do you think?
100, you borderline, like, you're obsessed. That's obsessed. Like, you're obsessed.
Yeah.
Like, you should be. Then that's good. Now, if you're obsessed with something, like when you 100%, like you're borderline something, there's got to be a little bit, and that's, you know what I mean? Like that's a different monster. It's like Elon Musk type stuff. You know what I mean? Like your brain is always gone. I don't want that. You can have that. I'm cool. I'm good.
So, but what do you think is the hardest thing about getting to that 75% consistently?
I speak for me. And maybe other people could speak for me. The hardest thing for me to get to that point is because I know I'm going to have to become someone that I call it the beautiful monster for me, right? I'm going to have to become something and someone that can sometimes and at times will be very savagey, being a savage, right? Certain times I'm going to have to be very cutthroat, right? Sometimes, and it's also like you got people who you love, right? You're going to have to, don't, you're going to let those people down. People always say, people think it's easy to like it's so hard. Can you tell your friends, yo, I ain't gonna talk to you for 5 months, right? Not I'm saying like this is a decision. Not I'm going away to war and I'm going like I can't talk to you. Like that's just the situation, right? Or if you're dating somebody, right? If you have a girlfriend, whatever the situation might be, right? Tell them like, listen, I'm about to lock in, and you're not gonna get that much attention for 6 months, right? But you care about that person, so it's hard to commit to becoming a certain type of person. Comes with the territory to get to 75, 80%, right? And also, like that effort. You know what I mean? Like, if I was to ask you, like, if you ask anybody, like, yo, did you give your best? Most people say no. Just ask them a question, like, why didn't you? They're going to be like, oh, no. You know what I mean? It's a certain motor you have to create to go like that. And in order to get to that 75, 80, 85, you almost have to have a I don't give a F mentality. And I don't care who I got to step on. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was talking to people like, are you ambitious? Like, just ask somebody their ambition. If they say, yeah, like, y'all don't think you really understand what comes with ambition. Like, ambition is like, if you and your best friend are going for the same position and that employer says, why should we hire you over them? And y'all both are right next to each other. And you say, you should hire me because this person sucks at this, sucks at that, and I'm good at this, and this is why you should hire me, right? But you know what I mean? And do you want the job that bad? You see what I'm saying? Like somebody ambitious enough to be like you're going to be cutthroat. And certain people will be like, no, you don't have to put down your best friend, blah, blah, blah. Now, what if your best friend did that to you? They wanted it that bad. Like, ambition comes with a price. You know what I'm saying? Like, that 75, 80% comes with a price. People think you can have everything. Like, you ask a lot of women, oh, I want it all. You're not going to get it all. You can't. Show me show me one person who has it all. And they be like, oh, my friend, man. I'm like, show me one person who has it all. It's just not, I haven't seen it. Now, that's okay. Now you got to ask yourself the question, what am I okay having? Right? If you want certain successes, what's the price? You got to answer, what's the price I'm going to have to pay? Say your show. What's the price you're going to have to pay for your show to be like, bang, like we in 100,000 IG live TV stations, phone stations or whatever, right? Every time you like, what's that going to take? What's the price you're going to pay? You know what I'm saying? That might mean so much time is going into that craft, right? It's costing you time, like with your family. You know what I'm saying? Have you got any children?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to like, you know what I'm saying? Are you willing? How old are they?
9 and 7.
Right, 9 and 7. This is very delicate. Are they boys?
No, I have 2 girls.
2 girls. Even so, very delicate. This very delicate age, right? So, are you willing to cut time with them for the craft, for your career, or whatever? This question I answer. People are like, you could do both. Like you could do both, and you're going to be like basically average at both. You could be a good dad, and you could be pretty decent at doing what you're doing. You might not get like, but if you want to be to the elite, something's going to have to suffer.
Have you asked yourself, or have you already done the assessment of what you're willing to sacrifice or what you're not?
Let me tell you something, brother. Hold on. Stay right here, brother. Don't move. I ask myself that question almost every day. Wrote it down. I got books to where I wrote down what's the price I'm gonna have to pay. What am I have to do? What comes with the territory? Like if I want to be this, like what habits do I gotta let go? Right? Like this is even back in 2024. I was just like, I got like 21 lists. Like you got to be very aggressive, right? And what comes with being aggressive? Certain people are gonna be like, yo, you aggressive, like boom, boom, boom. Like, do you want it that bad? Certain people ain't gonna like you. I didn't know I was a people pleaser, bro, until like last year. I didn't even know it. Like I thought people pleasing was like, you hey, like our definition probably of what we think a people pleaser is. I didn't necessarily know I was a people pleaser because I was more concerned about other people's feelings before my own. And what I mean by that, like I was concerned about if you're gonna feel some type of way more than myself, even if you was the person who started the confrontation. Like certain people might say certain things to me, and I can see 4 moves ahead that's gonna be a problem, and they ain't gonna be able to handle what I'm gonna say, and I'll be concerned about their feelings, even though they might have started it. Now I don't give a fuck. If you come like I'm dishing what you giving me. I'm gonna always be respectful. You give me love, I'm gonna show you love. Now if you come gritty, I'm giving gritty right back. And I'm not concerned if you're not gonna like me. I don't need you to like me no more. Like I didn't know that about myself. Like I don't need to like if you don't like me, you don't like me.
So
I don't care.
how did that shift? So how did that awareness come, and how long did it take you to act different on it? If
Well,
that
I mean, I would say I didn't start acting different until this year, right? And I would say as of like recent, made that decision because I didn't realize until this year that I was a people pleaser. Like, damn, maybe like last year, maybe like this year, I don't know. They come together, but very recent. So now, like, and even that, like, I'm revving up. I know I'm going to have to make decisions that a lot of people are not going to like. I have to get to a certain place. I feel it now. Now, because my heart was huge, I'm being completely honest. My heart is big. Now, when you go to that phase, I call it the dark side, your own personal dark side, your heart is going to go cold because it has to be, right? To make certain decisions, it has to be because if it's not, like, you're going to be like, all right, well, look, let me go ahead and, all right, what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Let's make this thing happen. Whatever the situation might be, where you find yourself, you know what I mean? Like, even though you're supposed to get something done, you're like, you know what? Let me go help them with this. But the dark side, that cold side, you're like, nah, they better figure it out. They're gonna be all right. I gotta go handle this. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to ask yourself those questions until you make those decisions, right? You won't cross over to the other side. Like you need to learn your dark side, and once you learn your dark side, then figure out how to control it. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
And that's what it's about. Yeah. But no,
nah,
I'm
listen,
dead serious. That's what
yeah,
it's about.
I'm serious too, brother. You had it. That's a bar. You gotta learn. Hold on, say that with me. Say it for me one
You
more
gotta
time.
learn your dark side, and then once you learn it, figure out how to control it. Learn how to control it.
There it is. There it is. Hold
I
on,
mean,
man.
it goes back to the everybody. Look, people recognize the line. Tupac said it best. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Right? Like I can go to that point, but don't push me. What I'm telling you is you need to learn that point. You need to get to that point and then figure out how to control it because it's going to come a time when you need to be that, monster. It's going to time, you know what I'm saying? Like, say, you got your fans, going to come a time, like somebody try to come up in there, you got to be ready to be like, bang, 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 bang. I know how to handle this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Rather than panicking, you're like, no, I'm ready for this situation.
Now, so just the asterisk again for those of y'all in the back, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but knowing yourself in that place is to understand how you are mentally and emotionally in that space, so you don't lose it. It's not to say that it always looks the same, right? That cutthroat moment, like you said, you might be sitting next to somebody where you got to make a decision, right? It might not be loud. Right, I think people get into this mindset of what that savage moment looks like, and it doesn't always look the same. It's not always as clean cut as it might not be anger infused. It might not be sadness infused. It may be, but there's going to be a sacrifice that is involved in that moment. The objective is to weigh what regret is going to be worse for you. Because that savage mode that he's talking about is about reaching greatness. Some people, and it's okay, maybe I'm ignorant for saying this, but some people aren't meant to be that great, and that's fine. Like, if you're not ready to do all the things, then don't do the things. Like, live where you at
Yeah.
because you might lose some things that you will not get back. It's
Yeah.
not you might sacrifice some folk that ain't ever going to come back into your world again. And you got to be okay with whatever that looks like after that, because it's never going to look the same.
Listen,
And
brother, if you haven't thought about that, like when you seriously think about that, and the closer you get to actually making that decision, I promise you're probably gonna cry. The reason why you're gonna cry is because you're realizing that you're going to have to become a certain person, and you're gonna lose certain people. You're gonna lose a part of yourself. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite things to ask people is like, are you willing? Like, would you sacrifice 1 year to be happy for 40? And everybody will say yes. Astonishing, yes, absolutely. And then I asked ourselves the question, well, why haven't none of us done it? Like, sacrifice a year to be happy for 40. Now that with that sacrifice comes, could you step away from everybody from a year, right? Can you step away from yourself? Can you battle your own personal demons? Can you step away from your demons? Can you step away from your family? Can you step away from can you step away from your daughters for 6 months, right? Or say a year. Step away from your family for a year to go do what you need to go do to become this certain type of person, to be happy and be able to provide to them for the next 40 to 50 years, right? To set them up. Most people will say yes. Now I ask you the question, like, why haven't I done it? Why am I not doing it? Because one thing is scary, right?
mm-hmm.
But it's that price. That shit come with a price, bro.
Absolutely,
Like,
I think people don't. If you ever watch the greatest people talk about winning championships, they always apologize to that, right? Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, like any of them, they always have a moment where they be like, "I'm sorry, like I just wasn't there. I couldn't be there and be the other things. Like I wasn't able to do to reach this other level and kind of be there for all of that, right?" And I think that's the scariest part or the harder part for people to accept, that what the sacrifice is. It's not what you're willing to do, it's what you're willing to give up, right? And that's something that people don't always want to kind of accept or embrace. Now,
I'm gonna say, I mean, to cut you off and let you go. Like most of us don't. Like I posed this question last week. Damn, what was the question? I said I'm at that point at the cliff where I'm either gonna jump now or just like never. Like I feel like it's a now or never moment. I posed that question. I said, how many other people feel like this way? 98% of people said yes. That's how they felt. Like if all of us are feeling like we're at that point of the cliff, we need to jump, but we're not jumping. I told so many people, like, why aren't we jumping? Like, first, now that goes back to, like I said, you got to ask yourself these questions. Most of us haven't made that decision to cut certain cords, right? I call it the emotional umbilical cord. We haven't made a decision to cut that emotional umbilical cord with a lot of things, right? And it, like I said, that's that price you're going to have to pay. You going, like I said, you're going to cry. If you are in touch with your emotions, you're going to cry. You know what I'm saying? Okay, go ahead. You about to ask another question. My bad. Go ahead. My bad, bro.
well, yeah. Well, even in that, just going back to kind of the original thought of what you do as in production, which part do you enjoy the most about production in that world, and what does it take for you to get it to where you want it to be?
Honestly, the best part I think is when they finally get the product.
Really?
Yes, because that's that when they get that, like, oh my gosh, this joint is fire. Or if it's a wedding, like, oh my gosh, we're crying, we can't stop watching it. Like, oh my gosh. And you can always tell, that's always tell, like, when I put a video together, even if it's a personal video, like it's and I talk about my raw emotions and feelings, and I'm going to do that even more, like putting into the videos, right? Telling my inner thoughts, because I know so many people are going through those same thoughts. And people all the time say, like, if I look at you, I think you got it all together. I'm like, oh, me? No, I don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I do know me. I know myself, right? I know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I need to work on, what I'm not good. Like, I'm very self-aware. That's one great thing about me, right? And there's certain things I'm battling, there's certain demons that I'm battling, right? And I know other people do. That's why I always say, somebody can look at me and judge me all they want to. That just lets me know I'm a better person, first and foremost, because I'm not going to judge them, because no matter how much you judge me, what you say about me, what you think about me, talk down about me, whatever, I know you got your own demons that you battling. You got your own problems that you battling with. You got your own situations. That and the third. So, but I'm not. You just let me know I'm a better person than you. I know you got it. Like, tell me one person who doesn't have issues that they deal with. That's life, right? And it comes with the territory. They were human. That comes with the territory. So I don't. That helped me not worry about what other people are going to say or think about anything that I do, any of my demons, any of my bad habits that I'm battling. Right? It's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, that's mine. That's my story, and I'm gonna go ahead and fight it. I'm gonna go ahead and help other people. My quote that I came up with that I love is sometimes we fall in life to help other people get up. It's okay, I'm gonna help other people get up. You feel what I'm saying? So, and that's when you talk about God and being aligned with all that. Shout out to Jay. When you talk about an alignment, right, with God, and once you can get on the same page, I came up with this saying. Yesterday, the other day, I call it arrogant faith. Right? I want to have arrogant faith,
Yeah.
and I have so much faith that like it's arrogant. It come over as arrogant how much faith I got. But and the metaphor is to be like, I believe in myself, my purpose, my calling. I believe in all of that so much that like we walking blindly, confident as hell. We're gonna make sure the thing happens. It's gonna happen. Like, it's good. You know what I'm saying? So that goes into what you believe in, whatever you believe in. I ain't judging nobody, whatever you believe in, along with manifestation. Those two come together. Manifestation and what you believe in. If you have that, game over. But what happens is we get knocked off of that path from life, right? We have an argument with whoever our significant other is, if it's married, girlfriend, whatever, talking to a Jones, side Jones situationship, whatever the situation might be. It could be work, right? They're taking you through the ringer, right? It could be your business, it could be your kids, it could be your own, personal demons that you battle. That knocks us off track from manifesting and being in alignment, right? So if you can get those things intact and you just like not get distracted from that, and that's why I said we're going away from 6 months. Because when you get rid of all those distractions, now you get tunnel vision. And I did that one time and I seen all of my production. And then since then I had got knocked off track. And I was about to get back on track, and I got back knocked off track. So being honest, like I'm at a stage of getting back on track to that tunnel vision. Because when you get tunnel vision, like I love women. I love beautiful women. Little women are beautiful to me. You feel what I'm saying? But when I was on that tunnel vision path, a bad junk would walk by and I wasn't worried about it. Okay. Like I don't even see it. You see what I'm saying? So if you can get to that point, then that, like I said, that can be a distraction because that takes you necessarily the path. Like I said, if you start dating, you got to spend time. You got to go on dates. You got to do this, that, and third. Talk on the phone. You got to do it on that third. But when you get locked in on something, when you want it that bad, like just I'm cool. Like for you, the only thing you should worry about is your kids. Unless you're in a relationship, that's something totally different. I don't know, not my business. I'm not asking you to say. It's not my business, brother. But you get what I'm saying. The kids, it should be the kids and what you're going after. You understand what I'm saying? Now, we got friends, we got all that stuff. He said, yo, love you, but this is what we're doing. This is what I'm doing for right now for the next 3 months. Just give them a heads up. Let them know. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't respect that, then they ain't your friend anyway. But most of your friends should be like, yo, I respect that. Because once you do it, they're going to come ask you how you did it. They're going to come asking for advice. Many people made fun of me. Then once I did it, they came and asked for advice. Yo, how'd you
Okay,
do that?
well, because this is in the comments, and it's a great question, right? So there is a period, right? So let's say I'm locking in for 6 months, or however long I'm gonna lock in for. There's a grace period, right? It doesn't just start. I locked in today and I'm locked in. Nah, brother. You gotta train yourself, because that day one, day two, that bad Joe walk through, you'll be like, hold up, where'd she go, real quick, right? How do you stay focused in that? In the pre-lock, like when you're trying to be focused,
Yeah.
right? And the distractions are coming at you. What are some things that you would suggest that people could do just to kind of keep it keep it in frame?
Oh, listen, I love that question. For the simple fact, what two things? Hold on, let me say can you hear that? Can you hear my heater? My heat turned on. Can you hear? All right, cool. So I always tell people, I don't know when you made a decision on something, right? Because when you really make a decision on something, it's a physical thing. You when you made you can probably remember when you made a decision that you was going to do this, right? You might thought, oh, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do it. But you know when you really made that decision Be like, nah, I'm doing it. You can remember exactly probably where you were, who you was probably talking to. You can remember. It's a physical thing. So one thing about when you make a decision, it's a conviction in it. Like, you know, it's like in a relationship. You know when you're done. You know when it's over. Like, it'll be over a while. You're like, oh, I know I'm going to leave, blah, blah, blah. But you know when you made that decision, like, nah, I'm done. So what I always tell people, when you go out to make a decision, it's a process to make the decision. That's what you got to understand. We need to, it's going to take a few, like, it's going to take some time to make that decision, because you need to go ahead and put everything on the table about, okay, what does this decision come with? What am I doing? Like, okay, cool. How do I do it? What am I going to sacrifice? What's going to hit me? Like, what are the possible, oh, wow, I'm forgetting the word. What are my possible obstacles that I'm going to face when I make this decision? And most of the time, people don't make a decision until it's like life threatening. It's like, you could be good, like, say like somebody like diabetes or something. You know what I mean? Like, you be tearing sugar up. Like, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna stop drinking sugar. I'm gonna start drinking soda. And the doctor said, yo, you drinking a couple more sodas, like, you gonna die. And you can stop just like that. And why couldn't you before? You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't make that decision. Now, making that decision is, like I said, it's a physical thing. And what you have to do before that, you have to ask yourself those questions. What comes with this decision? Am I doing it? I got to do it. I got to do it, because I'm telling you, man, it's hard to explain, but I will tell you, you have to tell yourself that process, and don't lie to yourself. Be like, nah, I'm done. I talk to my best friends all the time. They be like, nah, I'm done with this or whatever. I like, you ain't done. Trust me. I know when you're done, because I'll be able to hear it. I'll be able to feel it. I say that to myself. I know when I made a decision to stop doing something or to start doing something. I know when I made a decision, like, yo, I'm gonna get up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym. I know when I really made that decision or not. I can feel it. It's a conviction. But that goes back to the commitment, like that commitment piece. Like, when you commit, it's like jumping in the pool. Like, some people will be like, yo, I'm getting in the pool, and they go and just go with their feet, just walking in. Like, nah, like, go jump in the pool. Because once you make the decision to jump, can't go back. You're in the air, and it happens so fast. And then once you're in the water, it's like, I'm here. You know what I mean? So it's like, go ahead.
Well, I'm curious, just because we're here. Do you believe discipline is a muscle?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't know, like, I would say, even with my personal demons or my bad habits, I didn't understand how important a routine plays an effect on making decisions. Discipline, right? Being a muscle. Your routine is everything, right? Now, if you understand how important a routine is, you can realize, like, how can I change that? How can I change up whatever bad habit it was or whatever I'm trying to do, right? So, say for example, like, on your way from work, on your way home from work, you got past Wawa, right? And let's go back to that. You're like, Wawa, I just want to go and grab a honey bun and snack, right? After work, you feel a little hungry, boom, boom, right? You go home, like, man, damn, I keep telling I'm going to quit this sugar, right? And then no matter how much you quit, you were so used to stopping at that Wawa on the way home. Even if you said I'm gonna stop, like, it's a routine for you to just to go to that Wawa. It's part of your routine, right? So you're naturally gonna go to that Wawa instantly. Now, I'll say you be like, you know what? I'm gonna go a different route home. I'm not gonna go past that Wawa. I'm gonna change that routine. I'm gonna go take 95, right? And then what happens is you start getting into that routine, like, you start making a decision, it becomes a thing, it becomes a muscle, right? And then you forgot all about Wawa. After a certain while, you forgot all about the Wawa, which helps you not stop and get snacks. Now, it's easier because when you get home, ain't no snacks at home. I went straight to the crib. You probably like, when I get to the crib, I ain't going out. Cool. And then once you get up in the morning, you're like, I'm eating the snack in the morning, I'm going to work. When you get to work, I'm going back 95. Next thing you know, that muscle, that discipline, that routine of going the opposite way now becomes your routine. And you have quit that bad habit by changing the routine. You understand what I'm saying? So our routines are, like, imagine trying not to brush your teeth in the morning. You're going to feel bad. No, I'm just saying, it's a natural thing. Like, you naturally, like,
I feel like you would taste your breath stink. Like, I feel like you would taste it.
You would know.
Yeah.
You definitely would know, bro. But you it's hard to do it. Like matter of fact, try putting your pants on with your left leg first. Try it.
I do. That's funny. That's funny. That's an interesting thought.
I'm being serious. Try putting
I
your
know,
right.
I know, I know you're serious, but I'm left-handed, so my
Okay.
brain instantly went to, do I put it on right-handed
So you
first?
go left first?
I don't think so. After I literally was like, hold on, wait, what the hell? So no, I still go right.
Look, I'm about to do the opposite. Try to do the opposite. You be like, yo, this feels weird.
That is that is interesting. That's weird. But okay, so now with that said, right, you're very self-aware and kind of knowing where you want to go with everything, right? With the things now, but that's the production side. You also do this hosting thing. How in attaining your goals, will it be hard to find ways to balance both? Right, being an energy producer and being a video producer can be two very different time dedications. So, how, what's that balance feel like for you?
Well, honestly, it's not. But I honestly, when it comes to video production, I don't want to be. Well, I had made a decision last year, like I'm phasing myself out of it, only doing certain projects, right? Like I'd rather do one project that's going to pay me the same amount that's going to pay me to do 5 projects, right? And that's where you want to get. You want to get to that level, but like it's a part of me that's like doesn't want to let the video production side go because I know I didn't give my best. I want to give my best for like a year. I said I was done doing weddings, but I got one wedding lined up for next year, right? No, I do.
You ain't decided. Like you said it, but you ain't
No,
really decided. Is
no,
that what you
I thought no, but I'm being honest with you. I was done. It was the reason why I did the wedding. Only I know I was going like certain people wedding I would do, right? You know what I'm saying? But that was a situation where I was like, all right, I got to do this wedding. You know what I'm saying? And that's only one. I don't think I'm going to take on too many. You know what I'm saying? But when I made that decision, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, oh no, I'm done. I was cool with being done because I said I want to dive into more of the energy producing stuff, right? That we just talked about. Now, I look at it from like 3 folds. My video production side of me only want to do certain things. Now I just got to be smart about getting a team and all that stuff. I come, we shoot it, but they start breaking it down for me, right? And then I just come piece it together, and I pay them to break it down, and I just do my piece of putting it together. Like I figure out I can do the video production side of things. You know what I'm saying? But also like that side of me, I'm cool with just doing it here and there, right? But now what I got to do is increase my value as the energy producer to where that's what I wanted at. You know what I'm saying? So being completely honest, I want to be to the point to where, I'm pulling in great money from hosting. And the video side of it is me when I just putting together my own content, right? And that's going to generate money from there, et cetera, open up certain doors. But from a creative perspective, I can maybe do 2 video projects a month. That's going to pay me pretty decent. You see what I'm saying? So even if I do 2 weddings per month, like it always been a part of mine has been turnaround time because I've been doing so much stuff. But if I can boom, now people would rather have it fast than good nowadays. You know what I'm saying? They would rather have it fast. And that's hard for me because like I don't want you to look at the video one time and be like, oh, okay, cool, that's what happens. Some people they produce video one time for somebody and they be like, because they got it fast, oh my god, this is my wedding video, they got it, but they don't feel attached to it because they don't feel the connection with the video. It was just music and clips. Now when I put together a wedding video, it's a story to it. I want to bring the emotion into it. So they watching that thing 5, 6, 7 times a day. You know what I'm saying? I had people like, yo, I watched this 10 times. You see what I'm saying? And my people watch it like 5 times. And they will always go back to it because it's that good. Like even some of my own videos I produce, I go back and look at them like, man, that thing was good. Because I can connect with it. It's emotion in it. It's talking to me. Video and content. Like you see video content all the time on social media. Like, oh, that was cool. You just seen clips, boom, boom. But you feel no connection to it. It's like going on a date with somebody. She cute, but you don't feel a connection. Like, oh, she cute, but I don't really feel a connection. She bad. Now you can go on a date with somebody, you feel the connection with them. Like, yo, I like okay, yeah. What? I like hats too. She does. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So,
Listen,
but
yeah, it changed the conversation.
change the conversation. But when it comes to energy producer, like my thing is, I'm being completely honest. Like I'm mad that I'm not him yet. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm mad that I'm not him because I know too many people. I know too many people, and I'm really decent. I ain't gonna say like because I know I got like levels to go to when it comes to energy producing, like the host and stuff. I know it's levels to it. I know it's a couple like levels that I can get to. So I'm like, I need to combine that. And now I got to combine this the fearless mentality, this being real aggressive with going after stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I always said I want to have like a crackhead mentality, but just like a little level below. You know what I'm saying? And it's no shade to anyone because I got family who's affected by drugs, right? I'm not playing on that, but think about a crackhead. The crackhead is the most ambitious person on the planet. Tell me one person more ambitious than somebody who's a crackhead, because they will do anything for that goal. They don't care what you're gonna say about them, how you look at them. They're as 100 people. They got a goal they got to achieve, and they're gonna get to that goal. They will steal, rob, do whatever they want to do, except for kill. Crackheads don't kill, but they will do anything. They don't. I don't know no crackhead as a killer.
I,
I don't need. I don't know no
I'm
crackhead
glad I
as a
don't.
killer.
I don't think.
They'll steal from you now. Hold on, they'll steal from you. Oh, they'll do
Absolutely.
anything. They'll say. I mean, but all jokes aside, like I want that kind of like almost that kind of passion, but a couple levels lower, to where I can still wind myself in and be like cool. But I really want that like that level of ambition towards the goal. Now it's been hard for me to cross over to that because, like I said, I know the price I'm gonna have to pay,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just making peace with that. And you talk about making a decision, like I've been holstering that decision for so long now that I told myself like already made a decision about making a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just got to pull the trigger, and once I pull the trigger, I know but I know certain people are going to be affected by it, and that's what's hard for me. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
I kind of got
Will
permission.
those
So
people, will those people, right? Most of them be better off in the end.
no, they will.
Oh, I
No,
mean,
they act. No, they will. I mean, but they will be better off in the end. I mean, you might lose them. That comes with the territory making that decision. You might lose them. You see what I'm saying? You ask yourself the question: are you willing to lose them? Like, like, is it like say your daughters are 15 and 16, and you got an opportunity like a very crucial age, not just 15, 16, but like 13, 14. You got a very crucial opportunity to go really far in your career. Like it's gonna take a year, but you gotta step away from a year. Are you willing to make that? I'm not. Don't answer that question. But you guys said like, was I willing to step away, knowing that I could lose the trust of my daughters and the love they have for me because now they got abandonment issues, and now this is something they're going to carry with them as they get older. And they're going to hold it against you and have resentment towards you as a father. You left us. You see what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying? Even
yeah.
though you
I
came
think,
back and provided a better opportunity, like at the moment they don't know no better. They would rather have you than to have these people than to have this big house and all that. At that moment they would have wanted to have you. Now if they could be 30 looking back, they'd be like, well, that was the best decision. But when they're 13, 14, 15, once they build up certain resentment, it's there. It's there for years. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Now, as a father, would you willing to make that decision?
yeah.
Are you willing to
I,
lose your daughters for your greatness?
I think that the realistic part is the balance of, like I said, it's the weight of the regret, right? At the end of the day, when searching for greatness, right, and for you as an energy producer, right, and I know this as a host, as a performer, I'm a poet. Like I get on stages, right? So there are times and there is potential where it's like, all right, well, what if this thing come up? So you say, if somebody said, listen, we want to fly you, we want to take you, we want you to go on tour across Europe doing your poetry for this long, it's that same question, right? But the weight of the regret, right? Meaning, yeah, now do I get to, will I get to say, hey, that tour went for one leg, we want to take it for a second leg? I might have to turn that second leg down because that's not what I agreed to do within myself, right? It's that having that commitment and having that agreement and knowing what you're waiting to regret. I think the scary part becomes that, like, once you accept it, you can't, you still got other responsibilities to go back
Well,
to with the acceptance of
I
that,
love it. So
right?
now I'm gonna cut you off. So when that second leg comes, take that same example. If that second leg comes, I know the political answer is yes, I can't take that.
No, I
Right?
could. Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. But say that second leg is, I mean, you're talking about that money. Because if you was willing to take the first leg, are you willing to take the second leg? Now
Depends
that's
on how much.
you say depends on how much, right?
Again, there's always weight to it.
Yeah.
So now, if we gonna say, all right, if the first leg was life changing money, right? That's where it starts. the first leg is life changing money, but the second leg is the next level of life changing money. Let me live with this first life changing situation and see what I can flip out of this first. That's what I would say personally. But that's not easy for other people to say, because the other thing that's missing in this conversation is what people don't get is there are parts that get easier once you accept that new reality, right? So we're speaking of it at the beginning of that journey. Well, you do a year, guess what? Your whole environment is different. When you go back, life is different, right? If you look back a year ago, the world was different, right? So your life, you'll start to settle into this new thing. It gets real easy to say, oh, I'll just take the second year because I ain't been there, right? You got used to a thing, but now what's the sacrifice? What's the weight of it, right? What's the other thing? Eh? And honestly, if you ain't seen the kids, you might not realize what the effect of you being gone is. A lot easier for you to make a different decision, right? And being able to weigh those within yourself. And by the way, we're using big scale examples, right? This same conversation happens with diets, right? Same conversation happens with getting a new job, you know what I'm saying? Around the block, whatever it is, it still applies to you weighting the regrets of it, right? People will say, well, you know what, I need the perfect schedule where it got to be this. Nah, well, is there an incline that's going to take you where you want to go? What you got to sacrifice to get there? It's that conversation consistent. Now, okay, even with that, with you as an energy producer in that world, right? How did you know that that's what you were, right? Because now for me as a host, I specialize in creative messaging, right? So, and that's kind of in all the things I do. Right? So that's where I live at in kind of me. For you as somebody who kind of you go in and you assess the energy, and you figure out how here's where I want to take it. How did you know that that's what you had the ability to do?
Like I said, going back to that point of when I studied in high school, it was something it was just natural for me.
Like I know that's when you wanted it, but how did you know you could do it? Like it was in
you. Yeah. Oh, and at Del State, that's what I'm saying. Like I knew I wanted to do. Like I knew I wanted to do it in high school. Now, I don't know if you remember. I said when I got to college, I was hosting events down in college. So when I was in college undergrad, that's when I knew I could. I knew I could do it. You know what I'm saying? But
how? It was like you just got in front of there and it was just like out. You were just there.
Oh, okay. So I was involved with student government. So yeah, certain events and certain times they had to get up people and introduce the event. I was like, all right, I'll go do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I always wanted to do it. So it was something like I did it because I wanted to do it. And then once I did it, I knew I could do it because I was getting the reaction. Getting a reaction. And I was like, okay.
For you? Like, do you have to think about it when you're there, or is it just you're in the moment?
I mean, it depends on what the event. You have to be thinking about it beforehand, because most of the time you're nervous, because most of the time you didn't prepare, right? It wasn't like I wanted to
go back. Oh, hold up. Didn't expect that. All right. So what is preparation like for you, or non? Like, what does that look like?
Well, not now. At the time, I didn't prepare at all. Like, it was like, yeah, I would probably like ask myself, like, okay, what do we got to do? Like a couple, like maybe like some moments before. All right, who's coming on stage? What we got to do? All right, what do you want to say? Right? Okay, boom, boom, boom. But preparation now is just different. Like, say for an example, you know, like I had the opportunity to do ESPN First Take, the energy, the crowd for that, right? So now, like the preparation for that is like, okay, what are the segments that's going to happen? Like how many timeouts? I mean, how many commercials I'm going to have? Like how much time is going to be in? Okay, that's known. That's just known, right? Okay, let me go in and prepare. Let me have some questions. What am I going to do during this segment? What songs am I going to tell the DJ to play during these segments? Not only that, if these songs don't work, do I got to back up stuff? Like what's this and the third? It's really preparing for wherever possibilities could take you, being able to adapt to them. You're already prepared for it. And then what I learned for me was most times something happened and I was just of experience being able to adapt to the environment, right? It's like, ooh, I got by, like I adapted to it. Now with the preparation, what I learned is when I prepare, I'm comfortable because I already went through all the possibilities. Now the preparation now meets the talent. Now I'm a dominated because I'm already prepared. I got this stuff. Boom, I know where I can go. I can mess with the crowd. Now my mind is not flustered. It's not moving fast. It's like in sports when they say you slow the game down. They slow the game down because you prepare. You've been in these situations. You can see things happen a mile away. It's like a boxer. They can see a punch coming like from a regular person like me because they prepared. Like they can see that coming. Somebody like me, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see Floyd Mayweather's. I'm like, God, did he just hit me? Yeah, he just hit me. That's how fast it was. Watch out, him. We'd be like, but that's like the Matrix. That's how much he's slowing because he prepared. So when a mind is slowed down, I'm able to see things at an event, see how I can use this and use that. You know what I'm saying? So the preparation, and like I want to prepare. Any event that I do now, I want to actually really, really, really prepare myself to my best abilities. And I didn't in the past like that, right? And certain, I mean, I started getting better at it, but like that's what I'm saying. I haven't touched the iceberg of what I'm going to do, honestly. Like I haven't, and but I want to
That's
use. That's what I'm saying. I want to be really good at it to where no matter what, you know, like prices is not being questioned. Like they're gonna pay. Like 50 Cent said, a bottle of water is $1 at the store, $2 at the grocery store, $4 at the airport, $7 on the plane. The bottle of water is the same as this in a different location and different expectations. When you buy a bottle of water on the airplane, you're expecting it to be higher, right? When you buy it from the corner store, you're not, or your grocery store, you're not expecting it to be $7 because of where it's located at, right? So same thing when it comes to your craft. If you understand what you're doing, the value that you bring, put yourself in situations or environments that are going to pay you what you're worth. Now, granted, you have to have that talent and skill to give them what you're charging them. It's like they pay an artist, like comedians. Say Kevin Hart. It's a lot of comedians that might be funnier than Kevin Hart, but at the time he played his cards the best. He could charge this amount, and people would pay it. You understand what I'm saying? You don't question, people say, let's just say cars. Like somebody goes to buy a Bentley, they're not questioning the price. They're not worried about if you're trying to get over on them or not. How much is the Bentley? Okay, cool, give me that. We ain't worrying about if you're charging us extra for this, extra for that. Like maybe we go get a Honda. Be like, are you getting over on me or you're not? It's a type of levels to it. You know what I mean? So it's like when it comes to your craft or whatever you do, if you're really good at it and you're really dope at it, as you keep moving up the ladder, like you can demand what you want to demand.
So okay, right now, and I'm gonna say it this way, because as a host, I'm gonna tell you when I started to learn myself as a host was when your name started getting thrown in conversations, right? Locally, like it was like oh yeah, Blake, and I was like, cause I hadn't actually interacted with you like that, and I was like, wait, what? And it was like, yeah, your host. I was like, oh yeah, word, because I was like, oh, hold on, right? And then I started kind of paying attention because that's when I learned a lot about the business, right? Now, when did you know you were good? Like, because you started, you're doing the DSU thing, you engaging people, but when did you was like, yo, I'm good. I have potential to be all the way him. You see, like, when did you know that you had that?
I think,
or was there
being honest, I'm not sound kind of corny cliche. I'm like, I'm not him yet. I know I'm going to be him. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, where I could be. I would say I know I was pretty decent. The people will tell you. The people are going to tell you. Like sometimes people will tell you stuff just to be nice, but the people will tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, or that goes back to that thing of you knowing if you gave you a good effort or not. The crowd will tell you. The atmosphere will tell you. If people come up to you and they're smiling when they tell you, like, yo, you are so good. Like, we love you. We enjoyed you. If they're smiling when they said it, like, they go out their way to tell you, then you know what I mean? Like, okay, I must be doing something right. Most times we don't see what other people see in us, right? Yeah, it gets to that point to where you be like, you gotta like believe, like, nah, obviously if they saying it, multiple people saying it, then and they don't know you, not that your friends are like, oh no, you did a good job because they don't want to hurt your feelings, but like if people don't know you, you ain't never talked to them, they be like, oh, you did a great job, like we love you, then you're good. Like you're at least decent. You understand what I'm saying? So and like that, it goes back to it, like if you kill something or not. And anything that you do, you know if you put your foot in it or not. Like if you cook something and you taste it, you be like, that thing banging. I don't care who like this or not. Like this is good. And you the only one that tasted it. You like, man, I put my foot in this. This is banging. Because you know. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm gonna say this. By the way, in case you don't know, you're watching Hats Off with your boy G Dash Jones, where I get the keys from the gatekeepers and talk flavor with the tastemakers. And I have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Failure is Dope himself, the host extraordinaire, as well as the video producer, CEO of Front Street Video, Mr. Blake Saunders. Now, Blake the Brain. Sir, now with that said, sir, thinking about kind of all the things you do from with that, the reason why I wanted to even ask that question, and I love for people to know this, right? If you're an entrepreneur or if you just do a thing, what people tend to forget is, well, maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't do that, but they will tell you, right? You always that's something people will tell you if you're good at it, right? And you gotta kind of listen to that and kind of grow into that base to build where you want to be without giving into your like self will doubt, but they'll start to tell you where you're good at and what you're not, and you have to do those mental assessments. Have you always been somebody who did those mental assessments on what you were doing and how good you were?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say I did a good job of self-assessing and internalizing self-assessment, all that stuff. I think always did a good job of that. You know what I mean? Like asking myself certain questions, like, am I doing a good job? What did I do? Did I prepare? And most of the time, I always, I felt a lot of times I felt like I could have done a lot better. Like I would leave certain messages like, man, I'm mad at that. And then, but you actually want to get to that point to where little stuff bothers you, because that means like that comes with the form of being excellent. To where like if you did this, that, right, and little stuff bothered you, you're like, man, I should have moved my leg this way. I should, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things that that's bothers because you can correct. You'll want to correct it, and you'll just keep getting better at it. So I mean, it's a gift and a curse. But I think I always did a good job of being very self-aware. You know what I mean?
Now, was it intentional? Or did that have you attach your inspirational and your motivational side is a part of how you host, right? It's an uplifting spirit that you like to deliver into a room.
Right.
Or write that down. Okay, anyway.
Bars. Bars.
Now, but was that an intentional thing, or did that kind of just fall into place?
As far as self-assessment?
No, adding the inspirational piece to all the things.
Oh, well, I think that was kind of it might sound weird, but kind of natural, because I always felt I was always kind of knew my purpose was to help people. I knew that from a very young age. I didn't necessarily know what it was, but I knew I had a purpose to help people. My brother might kill me for saying this. I remember when I told him when I was a little bit younger. This is younger. I said I wanted to be a motivational speaker. And he was like, "What?" Like most motivational speakers, like, what are you like? Most of those people have like a story to tell. Like basically, he was looking at it from the perspective of like someone who's been successful in say a career, has a lot of money, like a celebrity type of thing, like those type of things. And at the end, when I look back at it, I was like, so you're looking at it very narrow-minded, because at the time I had graduated college, I had started my business or whatever. I can go back and talk to middle school, high school, kindergarten students, even college students. You see what I'm saying? Because those people I have had experience with of those stages of my life, I can help those people, and I can inspire and I can motivate those people. So when I understood that from that perspective, and then it came to, I always said I wanted to, I would never call myself a motivational speaker. I don't even like that. From being honest, I won't call myself that. Have you ever seen me call myself a motivational? Like, I won't call myself that. I will never call myself an influencer. Like certain things I won't call myself.
Why not though? Because you do influence people, so people call that could be a valid statement. You definitely get on that stage and get the motivational speaking.
But I just think like I love like inspiring people or helping people.
Okay.
Like I said, sometimes I fall in life to help other people get up. Now that is like it's not like I look at it like it's necessarily a business. Like that's the purpose. Like that's my purpose. When I talk to people, I can talk to a stranger and tell the same thing I would tell a group of people that would pay me the same amount of money, like a good amount of money. Like I told the same thing to Barclays executives, the top 50 executives, did a presentation for them. I can give the same. I did the same presentation for them that I did at the YMCA for kids, Black Achievers. Same, it's the same thing, right? Now, one's going to pay me, and the other was volunteering, right?
Yeah.
Now it's different atmospheres. I'm gonna tell the same thing. Now it's going to help in different ways because of what I'm providing necessarily. So, I just like inspired. Like that's just my purpose. So I don't never like I want to inspire people, yes, to like get up and to fight. You know what I'm saying? And to overcome their obstacles and beat their demons and all of that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Also, but like I said, but now I'm realizing I want my content to be authentic inspiration, right? Like you see a lot of people when they got content, nothing against them, do their thing. It's like I don't believe you, and the reason why I believe you is because it doesn't come off as authentic. I always tell people like you can tell as women. I always say take two guys can say the same thing to you, same exact words, but one can say it and you can feel it, and one can say
Mhm.
it's game. Now, why? What's the difference? Because she can feel his energy from the guy that really means it. Same thing when it comes to like content. You can sense if it's real. So you be like, yo, I believe it. That's more relatable. Like I believe him when he say you could be anything you want to be. I believe him when he say like that and third, you can do it because I did it. But he's showing you. You know what I'm saying? Like certain people, I don't believe you. Like when you start doing things that are cliche, like everybody else does it. Like I don't want to do stuff like I don't want to follow the trend. Now, certain things could be the way, like this is the direction the world is going. Like the world is going more content, social media, all that stuff driven. That's the way of the world. How you deliver on these platforms is different. How you show up is different. Like people see somebody be successful or something, they be like, "Yo, I'm gonna do that same thing and mirror it." And it's not. But most times it doesn't come off as authentic because it's not authentic. I don't say you can't. I'm not saying that you can't take from people like pieces, and that's what music is. You can sample it, sample certain things. I call it Kanye method, right? Sample all like the way they did that. Let me combine that with that and third, do my own little twist on yeah, and make it your own way, on your own thing. Like when I do inspiration, I don't want to do it like how everybody else do it. Like I'm not like now I'm gonna do it through working out, like those like workout videos where I'm telling you certain things. Hopefully that will help you. Because hopefully help you get into the gym, but it's actually helping with your mental more than anything. You know what I mean? How can I create videos like Metaphor Mondays, right? Where I can deliver a metaphor that's so dope and simple that you like. I like that. Definitely.
What, were you always a word person? Because you're not like okay, as a writer, I know a word person. When I hear a word person,
word person.
because and I'm gonna tell you why I say this, right? Your metaphor Mondays, you ask very interesting questions, right? And we'll get and fast forward shout to shadow, but I'm gonna get to there in a second. But you ask questions that kind of can thought provoke people into getting to a thing, right? You use words to provoke thought, right? And it seems like within hopes to inspire or to grow people. Were you always somebody who was technical with words like that, or kind of knew the power?
Um, I won't say always. I just think it probably. I was good with words. I would say I was always good with like titles and stuff. It was something I can just always do, right? Coming with a title or like a caption for something that was created. Like when it comes to words and all that stuff. Yeah. So title, yeah. I would say I was always like not always, but like I think when I started writing Confession of a Broken Heart years ago, a little bit after college, that's when I started playing with like words and realizing how I can be creative with words to inflict the message that I'm trying to deliver from something as simple, right? So I got like on my blog, I got two blogs that I'm really proud of, and one is called The Mental Trial. It's on my page, BlakeTheBrain.com, where I use the metaphor of a trial and connect that with depression and how depression is the jail and how I was on trial and how you know it was a bunch of evidence, quote unquote, life was saying go in this direction, but I had my, once I got stronger and that, it's dope. I love it. I love that writing. And I have another one called Failure's Bank Account, where I using the metaphor of your bank account, but also the customer service rep, who was God, who's actually God in this situation, who's to call customer service to help, blah, blah, with the bank account. Just, what I mean? Like, I want to get back to those type of things because people can connect with those metaphors because it's something that they see on a daily basis. They know how it feels to look at the bank account and be like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? Or look at when they make a deposit or when that tax check hit. You feel what I'm saying? Or those type of joints. Or like I know we look at the word depression as something that's so negative. And I was saying this earlier, depression is a great stage for clarity. Because when you're in that stage of that first stage of depression is when you get clarity on what you should have done, what you could have done, who you want to be, all of those things. Because you're thinking about it. Pain provokes that and it pushes that. Now, what happens is you got to take that thing and like keep going through the process. Now, take all those things when you was in that stage and go do what you knew you should have done. It's like jail talk. When the person is in jail, they know exactly what they're supposed to do, right? Because they're in a space where you have nothing to do but think about what you were supposed to do. You're not distracted by all these life distractions and that you can just go get into and blah, blah, blah. You forget what you was trying to do or what you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So I look at certain things, and like I said, people look at the word depression as necessarily a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. Depression, I'm not saying is an easy thing. It's not a light thing. I'm not a therapist yet. But it's a moment where you're sad, and it's going to come. It's life. You're going to have sad moments. It is absolutely going to come. And if you know that it's going to come, that's okay. We can handle it. It's like the traffic situation. I know traffic is coming. I prepared because I left early. And I factored this part into my travel time. You know what I'm saying? Now, what happens is when we're using that same metaphor, and this is where it's a different type of depression or life situation, is when you prepared traffic, when you left early, I know it's probably going to hit traffic, boom, boom. What you didn't prepare for was if an accident happened and the road traffic was stopped for hours. That's what I mean by that is when life hits you, when you loss of a loved one, right? Loss of a parent, loss of someone very close to you. Those you didn't expect it. So life came to a traffic stop. You know what I mean? Like stopping you can do. You got set here. You know what I'm saying? And then what happens? You just gotta wait for this time, and it's nothing you can do in that mourning process. The best thing you can do in the mourning process, and chill for I get emotional, my darn self, is kind of just allow yourself to go through that process of mourning. If you know the process, because the first thing is, of course, is disbelief. You got anger, and then you got acceptance, right? And then you got when you go through it now, you got depression in the sad phase, and then next thing, which is so important, is the next phase is making peace with it and moving on from it. You know what I'm saying? Once you make peace with something, you can move on. But most people, what happens is when you get to the depression stage, you never made peace what got you there. You know what I'm saying? And if you're gonna make those mistakes, they're gonna happen. And then make the peace with that. I had to trust me. I'm telling you, very recently, like nigga, I was down for about 2 weeks, depressed, mad at myself because I was in a position where I wanted to be, and I fucked it up. You know what I'm saying? Nothing nobody else done. I did it. And that hurt me because I'm like, yo, this is where you wanted to be. You messed it up. And I had to mourn that. And that was tough. But because I understood the process, I knew I was going to be okay. I just got to go through this phase of it hurting, waking up in this pain. It's like if you ever hit your elbow or something. Like it's sore, it hurts. But what happens, it gets less and less painful as the time goes by. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta wait out that storm. I knew I was going to be okay. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's part of the process. I know I'm just talking. My bad.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. My
No,
fault.
man. Listen, if you don't know, listen. This is about. I'm glad. I love this. Here's why I love this, right? And I'm like, I'm worried. I'm like, yo, I hope I don't take up too much of your time because I like what we're doing. There are questions I have, right? But I think people need to see this level of vulnerability.
Yeah.
People need to understand that this is human.
Yeah. But you know what? Even us as men, like for real, like even I mean, go back to social media. Like how many people, like it's social media, people will always, most people will always show all the good. Like I've seen people post. You'll see like a woman. She might post her and her man, but in no actuality, like they about to break up. Show you the good stuff, but they about to get a divorce. So, and I'm not making fun of that. I'm not by any means a stretch.
But we
Most
see
people will
that.
post good stuff. It's like, all right, if you're that bold with posting all the good stuff you're doing, or you're that bold to post your vulnerability. So for me, my vulnerable space, by me putting it out there to the world, actually is my therapy, right? Because I'm attacking the fear of the vulnerability and worry about what people are going to say about me. And I'm just like, I'm going to put it out there. When you take shame away, what else can the world scare you with, right? If you're not afraid of shame, I'm not worried about what you're going to say to me. I'm going to put it out there myself. Like, this is what I'm battling. It's nothing no one can say that's going to put you down. Somebody can say, yo, Blake, you just, you just, blah, blah. Yeah, you're right. It's okay. I already told myself that. I already had that fight with myself about that. We good. I'm good. You gonna tell me something that I already told myself and made peace with about myself? I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? And then if you can ever get to that point where you don't have shame in those type of situations, I promise you, watch how far you grow. You know, watch how far you go. You know what I'm saying? And also with that vulnerability with it, right? Even the vulnerability when you start dating somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I would say it's different between being vulnerable or being honest and then being vulnerable. Now I can be honest with you. I can tell you this is what I'm going through, so I'm struggling with vulnerability for me. I won't allow too many people to be there for me in vulnerable moments. And this is what I mean by that. I won't, because in certain vulnerable moments, certain people will throw that back in your face if you allow them to help you, right? Or certain things, or hope they, like if I feel like you would throw that against me, I'm not allowing you to help me in that vulnerable moment. I gotta really, really trust you to be able to help me in a vulnerable moment. I can be honest with you and tell you this is what I'm hurt, I'm going through something, blah blah blah. I can be vulnerable and tell you that. Now to allow you to help me with that, that's a different monster. But also I'm a type of person where I'm the type of person where I gotta fix this as a man. Me first. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta fix this.
But even in that thought, how do you manage the conflict, or do you ever think about having to manage the conflict between ability and capacity? Meaning, as a man, I know I have to fix it, but I might not have the capacity, or I may decide, hey, listen, this is my thing. I got to work on this, but I may not have the capacity to do it. Like, what would you say in your navigation of those moments?
But those are the moments where you just need to take that time. If you don't necessarily have that capacity to get yourself to where you need to be, you need to take that time in that space. Right? And you have to and that could be however you have your outlet on that process. It could be working out, it could be the gym, it could be writing, right? Doing your poetry, doing your thing, et cetera, et cetera. Like you have to take that time in that space. And not you have to. Because if you don't, you're never gonna get past it. Right? And then you're gonna be trying to juggle certain things. So I would say sometimes you gotta slow down and go fast. Right? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta slow down and go backwards, like the wind up. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Bit of momentum going back, because there's so much friction going back that once I release it, I'm out of here. But I took that time to go take these steps back and build it up, and I dealt with it. Now I'm out. Now I can go ahead and handle. I can maneuver however I need to do to get through certain things. And these are things that I'm learning that I'm actually going to put in a book. Like these are I want to tell the world these type of things. This is what I mean by authentic inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Through my own vulnerable moments. Like, yo, no, this is what I want to boom, 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 boom. Cause like I said, people think I got it together. Like, whoa, no, wait. And I'm not putting out there like I got it together. People like, yo, I would have thought you had it together. I said, weird. What did I put that out there? Like now when I
Wait,
might
you know
post,
why people think that?
I mean, they might see me
You do realize
posting like that's working and stuff. Like, oh, that's all we say.
that's not why. That's not why. All right. So the reason why people would assume you have it put together, while they see you working, you do work in a public space, meaning you're hosting and the things that you do, but it's also because of your level of self-awareness, right? So if I can tell you that I know, hey, the cliff is always over there. Listen, and I know whenever I walk over there, I fall off the cliff. So now it seems like I've learned to not fall off the cliff. I didn't tell you that I learned not to fall off the cliff. I might fall off that same joint tomorrow, because guess what? I'm still working on not doing it. But because I'm self-aware enough to know that cliff trips me up every time. That means I look like I have it together, even though I'm still working to not walk off the cliff. And that's you. Like, we don't know. Like you're so self-aware that when you speak on it, and by the way, you are a great storyteller. When you start clarifying the situations, it's like, wow, he got it. But really, what you're saying is, so I'm telling you this because I'm working on it. And it's like, I mean, I hear you, bro, but you sound like you got it.
I mean, certain things I do have, like certain things I am proud of myself about. Certain things, like when I understood that, like, gee, you could be something that you could be great at, I could suck at, and something that you suck at, I can be great at. And that's why I always say I would never, it was somebody said to me one time, it was like, yo, like when you keep failing at that, like when you gonna learn, when you gonna get it together? And I checked them at the moment. I said, yeah, I might suck in this area because you're good at it, right? Let's just say somebody who's always organized. Say somebody who's always organized. Like, yo, why can't you get organized? Like, is that a third? That could be easy for you, but it could be hard for me. That could be my challenge. Now, I said to that same person, I have no problem speaking in front of thousands of people. You have anxiety when you got to speak to 5 people at your job. I could be like, it's just 5 people at your job. You tell them every day. Why can't you do it? Instead of me saying that, I understand why you have that, why you can't get over that. That's your thing. You understand what I'm saying? So I like when certain people say, yo, like you said, going to the point of like, oh, you got it all together and all that stuff. I was like, nah, like I'm still putting on like all my failures. Like if you look at the last video I even put up, that was probably one of I love that video because it literally is my biggest fear. My biggest fear is leaving this world without hitting that potential. Like that is my biggest fear. Absolutely. Like
that to me, two of the it's ironic. One of the two of my, I guess, biggest fears, the word, I don't like that, but it is it's wasted potential, right? To me, I think that's one of the worst things in the world, wasted potential, because it's like it could have been great and it chose to not be, or it wasn't given the opportunity, and not even opportunity, because if it's never given an opportunity, then it's not really wasted because it didn't get the opportunity. But when the opportunity is there to do it and it's not, that's one of those hard things. Now, even in that, in looking at that for you in the content that you put up and how it affects people, even though you're not a motivational speaker, right? What you do,
I said, I won't call myself that.
He said, but for the check, I mean.
Yeah. I motivated check.
But now, really, but with that said, you still organized the campaign around failure is dope, right? You didn't just say, you know what, failure is dope. I got an idea. That's a dope little phrase. Let me put no. You boxed it up and made it not. I don't want to say a product, but you made it its own entity, right? What made you decide to craft around around failure is dope versus it just being a tagline?
All right, so it's 3 parts to that. So I'm gonna tell you what inspired just the word failure is dope. It was inspired from Meek Mill, and it was inspired from God is dope, right? It was inspired from Meek Mill, and you probably can't see it, but I got a wall right here. It's a soundtrack of certain, let me see certain tracks, or albums that was very inspirational to who I am. And it was Meek Mill's Wins and Losses, when Wins and Losses came out, right? So Wins and Losses, it made me create failures and goals initially. Those failures and goals, right? Because at the time, like I said, I had a lot of failures when I was doing my business, right? Along the way. And you know what I'm saying? So I was like, and I understood like these failures are helping me. But it was like, you know what I'm saying? So I realized in order to get to certain goals, you had to fail first. So it was like, these are the failures and just to get to the goals. Then that's when you see like God is dope. And I love the God is dope joint. And I was like, yo, failure is dope too. You know what I'm saying? So it was inspired from the God is dope movement, right? And being completely honest, like that inspired that. So God inspired it. Shout out to God. God is dope. But that kind of inspired just kind of how the name came to form. Now, I think, like I said, those failures, just going back to like the purpose, like I was an athlete and I understand losses come with victories. Like in order to become a champion, you're gonna have to go through some losses. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to go through some defeat. Michael Jordan had to go through it. Steph Curry, like anybody, every champion had to go through a losing phase in order to become their greatest self. So now, I mean, we're talking about like failure is dope. Like I know it's it. I know it's it. Like I know me as the energy producer is it, and I know failure is dope is it. Those are two things I know is it, and they are the combination of both. How do I use both? And then when it comes to video production and photography, I know how to. These are three things that I know how to mix the three. Now it's my job to cook it up the best. My video production skills and that are developed over the years is going to help me help and has helped and will help to continue helping me create the content for the, even as the energy producer, eating for failure is dope. I'm creating my own content. I already know how. Like creating content is so easy for me. I don't necessarily put it out. Like I got so many ideas. Like we can, oh, boom, boom, blah, 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 throw it out. Ah, dang. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to energy producer, how can I get out there more? Right? From creating the content, knowing a bunch of people, knowing social media, how it works. Failure is dope. How can I get it out there more? But also, when I'm doing failures, when I'm doing a presentation, my energy producing skills that I have, hosting, being able to know when to throw in a joke, when to learn how to maneuver that is helping with the failures dope presentation. Now, what's helping with the presentation? Those goddamn failures that I'm talking about. So it's a combination of using all that, putting it all together. Now I can even use the content in my presentation where I interview people. Tell me your biggest failure. Boom, boom, boom. Here, I interview with such and such. But I learned, you know what I'm saying? So it's just putting all those three things in the same pot. And we're going to cook up. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at right now. Like I want to cook up. Like I already told myself, I already know what I'm about to do. Like you talk about that commitment piece. I already gave myself the commitment date. Right? I've been on a true story. I was in Starbucks today and I was like, yo, I'm going to write these goals for 2025. And then I was like, yo, all my goals that I have for this year is the same as fucking last year. And that's the motivation. Because it's like, yo, these are the same goals. That means you didn't achieve them. So my the only goal that I have this year is commit to the commitment. Because once you commit to the commitment, everything in this book that I got, done. Easy. Like people say, I don't know how to do something. I say, commit to it. You'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that goes into laws of attraction, which is a whole other conversation. But yes, once you decide and you lean into a direction, things start getting delivered to you, and it works out a lot. It tends to work out with that. Now, you know, again, this has been an amazing interview. What I want to say to the people again in the back, if you have a bunch of different ideas, if you're running businesses and you're like, wait, I want to do all these things, figure out how they can work together, find synergy within yourself to elevate, because that's what he just described, right? And I think as entrepreneurs, I think one thing that entrepreneurs struggle with is, well, wait, should I go this direction? Or should I go that direction? Or should I do this? Or should I do that? Well, pause and figure out, can these things kind of work together to achieve an ultimate goal in order to promote the same thing, or at least to enhance things consistently, right?
Yeah.
That's what it that's how it sounds like Failure is Dope grew into its own space.
But you know, and it also grew because I was putting this stuff out there. I was some like failures. I put my failures out there, and like I said, people felt like one thing was authentic, and they also like they seen themselves in these failures. Like they was like, I'm going through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It was the relatability to it, and now I understood that as like, okay, let's definitely put out even more. You know what I mean? One of the favorite the failures dope videos that I put out was when you do those street interviews, I asked people when was the last time they cried. That guy, one of the big,
Mm-hmm.
biggest last time you cried, and what's your biggest regret? First thing, the reason why I get a lot of views is people want to see how many people like if what I feel is just me or is this other people as well. Because the more you feel like this is other people going through this, the less you feel like it's a burden just on you. Like this is just an anomaly. It's just you. It's like no, everybody's going through this. You know what I'm saying? The last time people knew that everybody was going through something was during COVID because it affected everybody in the world and everybody could relate to it. You see what I'm saying? But most people don't know about, like, if you got personal demons that you struggling or whatever your failures are, you think it's just you, but you don't even know. Like, no, like everyone, all your friends are going through the same thing, but you don't necessarily talk about it. But once you realize that, just go look at it. Look at the comments. People are like, this the views. Why is it getting this many views? Because people want to know, how are other people handling this, or is this normal what I'm going through? Oh, other people are going through it. So we just gonna keep putting out like real questions and real content like that. I want real questions. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the questions, like if you was to ask people, this can get kind of dicey. Is like, I kind of like sometimes think that marriage you should be able to sign a lease. Will you decide if you want to renew it after a certain amount of years, like 5 years? You sign a 10-year lease, a 5-year lease on this marriage. Somebody said it's a joke, but I was like, I kind of get it. Like if both parties come to like after 5 years, I'm like, you know what, you had a great run. We can go ahead and get a divorce without going through all the extra stuff. The lease is up. You see what I'm saying? Because if the love is up, it don't matter what the contract says. If the love is up in the marriage, that's what I mean by the contract of the covenant of when
I
the
know
love
exactly what you mean.
when it's done, it's done.
I so want to take this bait, but I'm not doing this with
That
you
ain't no
right now.
bait.
So
No, this is true
no,
story.
it's not that I think it's bait. It's that I know how our conversations can go, and I really want to respond, but I feel like that's gonna. I'm talking about you, sir. I'm interviewing you. So with that said, y'all can feel free to leave in comments if y'all feel like wrap it up in 6 months. I need a 6-year lease. I want a 6-year marriage lease. Y'all go ahead and do that. But what I will say is now, does it ever get difficult for you to pull that up? Hey, Rebirth, we talking about you. But does it ever get difficult for you to pull that out, right? Because you grab a mic and you're on, or you hit a stage and you're on. Does it ever get like, yo, I ain't got it? And if so, how do you get there?
Yeah. Oh, there's been plenty of times I'm like, man, I do not feel like doing this right now because of like if I'm going through certain things. I'm in like, you know what I mean, like certain depression states or whatever, like the first stage or whatever, or if I'm dealing with whatever it is. Absolutely, that's happened. But I think what it is once I get into it, once I like click into it, I forget about my problems and I'm able to go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like one of those things where I do it because I gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? Certain things I'm able to get through it because I'm trained on it. It's like sometimes you ever been driving home and you got so much on your mind and next thing you know you're home and you don't remember how the hell you got home. Like you like, yo, I don't remember nothing on that ride. You know what I'm saying? Because you know you're so it's so ingrained, it's second nature to you to get through it, and you know how to get through it. And that's how sometimes it was. Like I got so much on my mind that my I don't know why I can't draw the word, but you know, first hand nature, second hand nature, it just kicks in. You know what I'm saying? From doing it so much, the repetitions kick in. You know what I'm saying? It might not be my best job. You know what I'm saying? But it's enough to get the job done. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. And I'm actually curious about the other side, right? You have this dope ability, right? You talked about the questions that you asked. You have the dope ability to make people feel comfortable on camera. Part of what you do, so you're asking questions like, what's your biggest regret? Hey, should marriage end after 6? You might be asking a married person. Should marriage end after 5 years? Like, you know, it's like, but they're comfortable letting you know their hopes, their dream, whatever that thing is, on camera in a way that it's like it's almost it's in the middle of the street. Like you're not doing this like in a closed room. Y'all are outside, down south. We in the middle of Market Street. Hey, what's your worst fear? Bit, right? But they feel comfortable, right? They don't feel like it's all the noise and hustle and bustle of the street. They feel like they're just talking to you, and you're able to do that with them. Does it ever? How are you able to not react? Like even if you hear something that's like, or do those moments happen where you're like,
No. Those, I mean, that comes with the territory too. Like if those moments happen, I'm gonna react how I authentically feel in those moments. You know what I'm saying? But that's what, like I said, you can't fake authenticity. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they like one time I asked for the biggest regrets. One of the ladies, it was two ladies, and one of them she was like, I regretted her marriage. Funny thing about it, and she got married twice. And I was having fun. She's like, I got married twice. I regret both of those. Blah, blah, blah. I would never get married. I said, would you get married again? You know what I mean? And she was like, no. I said something. I said a joke within that moment or something. And it was just a natural reaction, but it wasn't anything that was disrespectful. It wasn't anything. And as it comes to, you know, being a jokester, you know, learn how to, you know, that time. It was an authentic thing. And she said something, I just kind of rolled with it. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but because I'm not a disrespectful person. So anything I'm gonna say is naturally gonna be okay most of the time because I'm not naturally an offensive person. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes,
you don't naturally come off as judgmental.
yeah.
Like you naturally make them feel like we listen and we don't judge. Like that is the energy that you're giving.
And I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, people, you can feel energy. You know what I mean? Like people, like energy is a real thing. Like people's energy is a real thing. You ever been somewhere where you can feel like it was evil, like it was negative spirit, like it was like, yo, this shit. I ain't gonna say where I was, but I was somewhere in the crowd that I was like, yo, bro, I'm out. I can just feel the energy, and I don't like it. I was at that. The next year, I was at that same event, the same crowd, and I didn't feel the negative vibe. Like I like this energy, and it was a good vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like you can feel energy, man. If it's out there, and you can feel energy when you talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like you can feel when, like you can feel. You ever feel like when somebody don't like you? That person like me. Oh, energy. This person hate. Like, you can feel it. Sometimes they can't even disguise it, and you can feel it when somebody is like, man, they just like they love you, like they with you. Like you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? So I think they can feel just the comfortability and just like I ain't judging. Any means of the stretch. I got my own shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we just trying to figure this thing out, all of us. So, you know, that's how I come across. It's authentic. That's why I said you was like when you was like, yo, Blake, you want me to say any question? I'm like, nah, I'm just having no questions. I wanted to be authentic. You know, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? You know, I was like,
oh, I know. Listen, okay, but understand. And I know that, which is why, and I didn't send them.
Like I don't want to have to think about it because
I'll say that. I hear that a lot. I hear that all the time. Hey, G, we don't need the questions. I don't need the questions. No, don't send me the questions. I'm a natural. I don't need it. I don't need it.
No.
I actually know you could do it. And I knew where I was going to go in this last episode of the season. So I was like, we just going to go. But what people don't get is it comes into preparation, right? For you kind of used to being able to flow in a certain way. So, that's where you're at. But for some things, the extra preparation never hurts. That's how I look at it, right? A little extra preparation doesn't hurt for people. It's never going to kind of get in the way. Now, with that said, right now, again, this has been a lengthy conversation, but I let it cook because I felt like
are we at the last question? I think I'm hungry.
We up on it. We up on it. Now, the question that I asked all my people, right? And don't get me wrong, we could probably do. There's a couple, but we could keep going. But
we could.
You know, it's been a while, so maybe we'll return back with a more cerebral conversation on this. Like I can.
Sure.
This is good for the world. This feels good. So, but I like to ask people if you had to give advice to your younger self, right? Back when you was just Blake. No, before I do that, how'd you become the brain? Like, where'd that come from?
So Blake the Brain actually comes from Pinky and the Brain. Like people say brain, oh you smart. I'm like, I ain't where I got the word brain from. It came from Pinky and the Brain because and it also, like I said, it goes to the purpose. So every day Pinky and the Brain, if you know the TV show, the cartoon, Pinky would say to Brain, what are we going to do today, Brain? And Brain would say the same thing we do every day. We try to take over the world, right? So it's two folds to that. So this was at a time when I made Blake the Brain was when I was doing production. I was like, I'm cooking up in the lab, right? I'm cooking up videos, cooking up crack in the videos, right? But also, like I said, I had failures along the way. Now, Brain, no matter what the previous failure was the day before, the next day was the same goal, same intention. What are we going to do? Same thing we do every day, try to take over the world. No matter how, you know, which is the definition of perseverance which is the pursuit of a goal, whatever, without worry about previous failures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I always felt like I could relate to that because he was trying to take over the world. Now, taking over the world, which was my podcast, so we had it, I was asking, what does taking over the world mean to you? Which means is, what is your goals. What is your ambitions? What is it going to take for you to get that? What does that look like for you? You know what I'm saying? So Pinky and the Brain was always looking like if I was, I got 3 brain posters throughout my house. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, I'm sorry. My apartment, my fault, y'all. Throughout my apartment, I got one in the bathroom, one in the bedroom. I think I got one on my joint or whatever, like a couple paintings. Shout out to Camille, she did that for me. She's an artist and my friend. Love her to death. My back. I love you, girl. Those paintings mean so much to me. And they're a reminder that despite previous failures from the day before, I need to have the same mindset that day and the same energy that day. And one day I'm going to figure it out. I always tell people, I just got to figure it out one time. That's all. And once I figure it out one time, game over. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just where we at. That's where brain come from. So it was Blake the Brain, like Pinky and the Brain, Blake the Brain. So
Don't do that.
I'm
You
just trying to
can't
take
say
over the
all
world.
that and you try to simplify it. It's just Blake the Brain. This is just Blake. No, that's not. That was a lot. That's a lot layers to the last 3 minutes of that explanation. But if you want to make it, Blake, you got it.
Yeah.
Now, okay, quick hits. What does success mean to you?
Success, the best definition I heard of success, which it actually means for me, is the pursuit and achieving your God-given potential. Attaining
So for
that.
you, your success looks like you being able to achieve your God.
Success to me is reaching my potential. That's what success is to me, right? So, you know, that's why I was never in a pursuit of a certain amount of money. It was never having a certain type of things, cars, a house. It wasn't that. It is getting damn near close to my potential. I ain't even say my highest potential. This is my potential. This that 75, 80% of my potential. Because I know that's gonna bring all the other stuff. Because if I can get there, like I said, game over. I already know that comes with the territory. He making like I'm gonna go ahead and that the money's gonna come. We ain't worrying about that. Like it's going to come. Whatever I want is going to come. I'm not even into clothes, cars, houses. Like I'm not that type of guy. I'm a very simple guy. I want to reach that. Now, what I do want to do is I want to travel the world. I want to go experience. I want to go have fun. Certain things I do want. I do want a nice car. I don't need I want a nice car that I can just go buy in cash. Here's this. Here's my insurance payment for the year. Right? I'm cool. It don't need to be anything like necessarily fancy, but it's a nice joint, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. I don't need necessarily a huge house. I don't need nothing. Like that stuff that don't mean nothing to me. They're gonna give me. I'm all about experiences. Now
So for you to reach success, so success for you also equals a moment of savagery.
You said a what?
Success for you also equals a moment of savagery. Because for you to reach that 75%, you see where it goes. You see where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, no, you gotta be a dog in this game. Like we was playing basketball, right, the other day. And I realized when I can perform in anything is when I'm competing. Right? And when you competing, like if you competing, like I gotta dominate you, bro. Not you, bro, but you get what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a matter of fact, if we talking grown, like even in the bedroom, you know what I'm saying? Like if that's the case, I took it there, don't worry about it. Like I want to dominate this. I want to dominate this. So like and that's a successful experience. I mean, she's happy. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit of the savage ain't hurt nobody.
No, you gotta be like, and that's also with life. Like you're gonna have to be like, you're going to like come to dominate, and then after that you shake hands. Yeah, you cool. It's all love. But in the moment, you have to be that type of person. Why people love Kobe? All the players in the NBA now, Kobe. Kobe was a savage. He didn't give like on his own teammates. Michael Jordan, best player ever. He's revered by every player in the NBA. All of them. You see what I'm saying? Because that nigga is a savage. You know what I'm saying? And out the court, he's even more of a savage. He's, you know what I'm saying? Hove. See, Hove is a savage. Okay? He cutthroat.
Yeah.
Hove is
Yeah.
cutthroat.
Yeah, he just said he ain't got no friends. Like he just said, you know who his friends are.
Listen.
So listen. I'm with you. I'm with you. When we get in the book, when's the book coming? Because the book
The
has
book
to
is
come.
coming.
I was gonna say, are you writing the book?
Yeah.
But you are.
Yeah.
It has to come.
Yeah.
When's the book coming?
Honestly, it's probably gonna be like 2026.
Okay.
I'm gonna be probably writing it this year, diving into it right around that time. So it's definitely coming out. I got 3 books I want to write. Failure is Dope, from Section 8 The Great, and Confession of a Broken Heart. So it's 3 books I want to write. You know what I mean? In order to go from Section 8 to Great, it's probably gonna take a couple more years. I gotta get to that level, right? I'm a Section 8 kid. You know what I mean? I come from that. Failure's Dope is definitely, but Failure's Dope is gonna be good. It is. I know it's gonna be good. You know what I
Well, it's gonna
mean?
come with a documentary, I assume, right?
I'm actually on a piece that I want to do, and I think I'm gonna start January 1, where I document the whole year
Yeah.
because I started
Yeah.
the new year. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to wait to the end of the year to put it out, or if I want to put out kind of like a weekly vlog type of thing. I don't know. I got to make my mind up on that though, for real, for real. But I definitely want to record it. And I already got some content I already recorded. Like, I mean, we keeping it funky. Like times where I would go to it's like 17 cents in my bank account. You know what I mean? Those type of stories where I had to use McDonald's gift cards just to get food. You see what I'm saying? And somebody probably gave me, you know what I'm saying, when I probably had money, but then like I had it, you know what I mean, in the crib. Times when I got to take back clothes just to get some money. You know what I'm saying? Like those are situations that I know a lot of people might go through. Like I ain't gonna look at I want to record this stuff. Like this I'm gonna show you like this shit is real. And I got people who helped me, who was there for me, that I will never, ever turn my back on. No matter what. I don't care what level we get to. Like if I get to a certain level, they coming with me. You understand what I'm saying? Like and that like I was like people like my friends, we have been my friends for over 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Because like I love them, they love me. Like we keep it tight. Now I can be cool with a lot of people. I know a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But when we talk about like that tight knit, you know what I'm saying? Because we'll go to war for each other. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to, like I said, those people who I would never turn my back on. Yeah,
Mm.
I mean that's real shit. Like help me out in tough times. But once things get good, like they good. You know what I mean? So if I can help them in any way, I will.
I definitely look forward to kind of the book and however you decide to put out the documentary information or all the makings of in that world. Now, the question that I ask all my guests is, if you had to give advice to your younger self in 2024, so you're still Blake, right? You're Section 8 Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Right, boom. But you had a handle. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to hit the whip.
Right.
You feel me? But you're a younger you. But the thing is, the year is still 2024, right? And all the 2024 things that are happening. What advice would you give? What would you want your younger self to know in this era?
Like my younger self or my beginning 2024 self?
Your younger self, like probably. Before you was any basically right out of high school, just a youth version.
Yeah.
But again, a youth version of you in all the 2024 things.
Be very fearless and shoot your shot at life. Like I say that to myself. Like if I can go back to myself, I would say go. That's my biggest regret is that I didn't shoot my shot at life earlier. Like believe in myself. And that's what I mean by like be fearless, and shoot your shot at life. That's what I would go tell my younger self. Like don't be afraid. And I learned that from it was high school basketball, going back to that. And we played AI, and I remember I got a steal. We was down by like 12 or whatever. We was down by a certain amount of points, and I had a fast break. And in that moment, I said, like, fuck that. I'm gonna pull up for 3. And that's before people shooting threes like that. Like he was shooting threes, but it wasn't this. And I just stopped, and I didn't have fear. And I was like, I'm pulling up for 3. I don't care what the coach gonna say. I don't care if he sub me out. I'm confident. I'm gonna hit this. Like I was fearless in that moment. And I literally shot my shot, and I hit it. Yeah, but that's sparked a run for us, and we got back in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that energy that manifested a whole bunch of other stuff after that. So I would say be fearless and shoot your shot at life. You know what I'm saying? Like go be him early. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of stuff we have ability as kids. I had the ability. I was just afraid to shoot my shot. Afraid to go after it. You know what I'm saying? Like go. Go. Because you don't remember you don't remember those shots you missed. You remember all those big time shots you made. You know what I'm saying? You remember all those big time shots you took in life. When you went after it, you're like, yo, what's up, girl? You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. You remember those. You remember the times you got rejected. I mean, you might laugh, but you don't really remember. You don't care. You know what I'm saying? You remember all the big time ones you pulled off rather than the rejections. Part of life. So I would say go shoot a shot at that.
Go shoot the shot, y'all. Listen, you said it. Don't forget that actually applies to all ages. All right, so don't think that it got to be a younger version of you because you like wait,
especially now,
especially now, right? The time you got less time now. Okay, so you might as the older you get, the more your shot needs to be shot. Shoot it, whatever the
Yo, matter of fact, you got this thing. Look, I'm gonna tell you, this is what you gotta do. Create a going into 2025. Like make a list. Here's the question. One of the questions: what prevented you from getting to the level where you wanted to be? Right. Let's just say that. That's one of the questions. Like, what prevented you? Write them down. Right. That's one of the questions. Right. All right. Next one was like, all right, who am I going to be? Who do I want to be? Who am I going to be? That's another thing. And then, oh my gosh, so we can go through it, bro. Create your routines. Like, do you have a theme for 2025 already? Like, what's your theme for the year? A theme.
I don't have a theme. No, that's interesting.
Yeah, I could create a theme. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the theme is like whatever the title to your album. You know what I'm saying? Like, create your theme. I don't know. It might, you know what I mean? Like, my last year was like, what was my last year? I didn't do it. Last year's theme was, go fucking get it. Just my language, some folks out there. Yeah.
Okay, that was the theme. Go. Okay.
Fucking get it.
You should. Random suggestion. Whenever you come up with the book, you should even sooner than that. Honestly, you should come up with a workbook because you have these questions and because you have these things that will inspire the thoughts. The workbook can be independent, but it doesn't have to be. But if you do that, it actually is something that we'll talk. I'll hit you up on the
No doubt. Hey, man, I appreciate you letting me be on the show, man. I'm going to get something to eat, man. I ain't ate since got on 2 o'clock.
Yes. So, before I get up out of here, what I tell people is if you give me a word, I give you a poem. So while you think of a word, what I like to do is called a quick hat tip. This is when I give gratitude and show love to some people who did some things. So with that said, I like to give a quick hat tip. Blip, blip to the quick hat tip. Blip, blip to the group Harvey Road. They was out there at Kelly Logan's house all last Friday. Listen, D Harv was up there. He did an amazing set. The whole band rocked out as well as Songbird the Goddess. Listen, Kelly's Logan house rocking. They had a hip hop whole vibe in there. So shouts out to D Harv and Harvey Road and everybody in that situation. Also, gotta do a quick hat tip. Blip, blip. That's a quick hat tip. Blip, blip to my man, Drake Corbett, a.k.a. Dark Prince and the Dark Hill Collective, because they had their spot out over at Chris Pullman's spot. Listen, dope vibe, right? Rocking out. You feel me? Listen, it was an amazing energy. The one lady, she was a harpist. She had the whole, listen, I don't think you understand. The other one had bars. Shouts out to the whole Dark Hill Collective. Phenomenal show. Had to give a quick hat tip to them. Also, quick hat tip. Blip, blip. So the quick hat tip. Blip, blip. Tony Smith and company had the jazz joint rocking over at Theater Inn. Shouts out to Gerald Chavis, Elion, on the sax man. Oh, it was they was up in there cooking. I wasn't in the room, but I know what the room was like. It just seemed like it felt amazing. So I had to give a quick hat tip to them. Also, a quick hat tip. Blip, blip. To Sean Classic over at the community building, giving out chickens, right? They was giving, I'm sure there was other things besides chickens, right? But they was giving out chickens and fixins. Bars, chickens and fixins was giving out. They had about 90 of them things. So I got to give some love to them just for giving out, serving the community. Listen, and this has been an amazing episode. So, of course, I got to give a quick hat tip. Blip, blip. This is a quick hat tip. Blip, blip to you, my guy, for being such an amazing guest, dropping gems left and right. People just sitting there trying to pick up all the gems. It's a lot. They got to use both hands to pick up all the gems that Blake The Brain dropped. Is there anybody you would like to give a hat tip to, sir?
You took them all. Let me get a hat tip. Blip, blip for my man G Dash. Let me come up on the show, man. We appreciate you, baby. Appreciate blip, blip to all my people who love and support the. No, I'm playing. No, man. Shout out to, just people who have stuck with me, who have supported me over the years, man, and really been with me. Yeah, for real. People who supported me in any way possible. So especially the people close to me who have helped me through times. Shout out to them and family. Yeah, that's all I got. And you, like I said,
I love it.
Blip, blip, G, for letting me be on the show. You know what I'm talking about? All right, hold on, we done yet? Because I'm hungry, nigga.
I know you gotta give me a word, and I'm gonna give you a poem, and then you out. Oh, okay. Well, that's dope.
Oh,
all right. So
dope.
I'm thinking. All right. I probably need to regrade all of my papers because a lot of times I would skew the score to put myself in favor, or I would ignore all the bad or the wrong answers because it's easier to say I look at them later. I didn't realize by making that my decision, I wasn't doing myself no favors. See, I have to reassess because I have to remember all the stuff I chose to forget, which was all the bad times, so that I can learn to change those into the proper times and not get lost in every other line, or at least the space between them. A lot of times I just accept things like, well, this just ain't my season, without realizing I can make it my season as long as I can take the time to pause and feel the morning when I'm breathing. So otherwise, I'll always be complaining about why my opportunities are always leaving. See, sometimes you got to lock in. When I say lock in, well, that may cost you some family, might cost you some friends. Sometimes it may seem to be some epic savagery that allows you to be what you're supposed to be, but that is all in the phases that it takes for you to be the greatness that you're meant to be. See, you may need to move vulnerably and pour out a little bit of yourself to gain a whole lot of wealth. This is how you can increase all the things to lock in and increase all of your health. Otherwise, you won't know what you need to do in order to grow. And the only way you can understand that is by accepting the fact that failure is still.
Yo, shout out to the man Dash, man. Dope, man. Good shit, bro. I'm looking tired. I heard you.
This has been a phenomenal episode.
Listen, man, my pleasure, brother.
Anything you want to say to people before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, that's you. The shit show, baby. Close it out, baby.
Listen, again, thank you all for tuning in. Oh, and a hat tip to all the viewers for tuning in for this season. I'll see y'all in about 3 weeks with another one of these situations. Otherwise, see me here and there. With that said, thank you again for being an amazing episode. Oh, and by the way, Valentine's Day. Me and Maya Bellardo, we doing something great. So look out for that. Save the date now. Again, thank you, Blake, for joining the show. This has been an epic moment. As I always like to say, love yourself first, and everything else will fall into place. This has been Hats Off with your boy G-Jones. Hey.